The whole world's been wondering, what is Calvin football? Today, men, we get to show them. We get to show them what Calvin football is all about. And today, they get to hear it. Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Ten weeks ago, in this very stadium, the long-awaited arrival of Calvin football came to fruition. The Knights delighted a sellout crowd and viewers across the region with a dominating victory over Oberlin College. Now it seems like the historic season has just flown by. Since that opening game, Calvin won a road game and impressed their fans, opposing coaches, and the media by battling to the last possession in nearly every game in fall 2024. And while the Knights' certain opponent today, Albion, sports a better record than Calvin's 2-7 mark, expectations for this young team has already exceeded in 2024. Calvin has been highly competitive in 5 of their 7 losses and have served notice to the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association that this football program will be formidable contenders in this league sooner rather than later. Today, Calvin closes the book on this opening chapter of the new football program, and Coach Trent Figg's team looks to earn their first ever conference victory against a high-octane opponent, the Albion Britons. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another exciting afternoon of NCAA college football. My name is Bob Sack, and it is a pleasure to bring you all the play-by-play in today's inaugural season finale for Calvin University as they meet Albion College live from Grand Rapids Christian High School in southeast Grand Rapids. But first, we welcome you inside the pregame show built by Eastbrook Homes. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you ready for today's matchup. When we hear from Calvin coach Trent Figg, we'll get his reflections on last week's rivalry game with Hope College here at Grand Rapids Christian, thoughts on today's game, plus his perspectives on Calvin's senior class as they bring this first season to the finish line. But first, when we return, we'll bring in a guy who knows a little bit about senior classes, our color analyst today, Jason Hutton. That's all ahead on the pregame show built by Eastbrook Homes, crafting beautiful homes and communities throughout West Michigan. We're delighted you're listening and watching with us on the Calvin Sports Network on MichiganSportsRadio.com and Talk 1230 WTKG.
Where will the next revolutionary idea come from? That next breakthrough in scientific research? At Calvin University, you can dream bigger, think deeper, aim higher. Our world-class faculty push students to keep asking hard questions and never settle for the status quo. Become part of a university that challenges students to go beyond as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. Calvin University, go beyond.
I love the NAME Scholarship Program because I just love how personal these scholarships are for the alumni and for the students. Being a student who grew up in foster care and then getting a scholarship for students who were in foster care and being able to connect with that donor and see the love and the passion that they have for me and being able to resonate with me and what I've gone through. God opened doors that I didn't even know were there. I'm at Calvin and my legacy is starting here.
Holmes, pleased to be joined by our color analyst today, Jason Hutton, for what promises to be a very entertaining afternoon of college football. Jason, you were here last week, Calvin and Hope, in the first ever rivalry game of a solid outcome for Calvin in terms of the performance on the field. The score was 38-7, yet I think Calvin acquitted themselves fairly well. Big game last week. How does this team rebound and what drives them for the season finale against this Albion team?
Well, just a chance to get better, right? We talked to Calvin head coach Trent Figg this week, and he said, you know, the morale of this team is incredibly at an incredibly high level, considering they've lost 6 games in a row. I mean, this team is still very into each game, and he's most pleased with the way this team continues to try to and is getting better week by week, which is all you can really ask for a first-year program. And I think today is just another chance for them to take another step forward, kind of build some momentum as they go into the offseason and look to get take a bigger step next year.
In your estimation, what would it mean for Calvin to get their first ever MIAA victory today?
Well, I don't know if you could put that into words, right? I mean, we know it's going to come at some point. Will it be today? That would be huge because the opponent's really good. I mean, Albion's outstanding program. They're 6-3. They have old players, really good players, and obviously Calvin's an extremely young football team, extremely young program, and I don't know if it'll come today, but it's going to come at some point, and I believe Calvin's building in the right direction, and today's a great opportunity to continue to do that.
Briefly, this Albion team, as you said, very good, 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the league. Where do they stack up in the MIAA pecking order here as we come down to the final week?
Well, it seems to me like they're clearly third, right? I mean, they come in third in the division standings. You got Hope and you have Alma, who appear to be on their own tier, but I think Albion is the best of the rest, and they have a chance to finish off a second straight 7-3 season, and pretty much sure they're not going to go to the playoffs, but 7-3, 2 straight years, and they're trying to build as well and try to get back closer to that top tier where they were just 2 years ago in Dusty Buer's final season. He's now the head coach at Northwood. They played Alma in the regular season finale with both teams undefeated, and the winner was going to go to the playoffs. Alma won that one, but Albion's not that far from getting back to where they were not that long ago.
Indeed. Travis Rundle, good story. We'll talk about him a little bit later today. He's the coach of the Britons and actually has quite the lineage and legacy with Albion football. Indeed, the Britons will be a tough opponent this afternoon. Earlier this week, earlier today, I actually sat down with Trent Figg and talked about the showdown this afternoon, get his reflections a little bit on last week's rivalry game as well, and talk more about the Britons. Stay with us. That's straight ahead on the pregame show built by Eastbrook Homes. You're watching and listening to the Calvin Sports Network on Michigan Sports Radio and Talk 1230 WTKG.
Join the next generation of global business leaders at Calvin University School of Business, offering 8 undergraduate majors and 2 master's degrees, and exceptional faculty with real-world experience who will partner with you and guide you along the way, and opportunities to participate in internships, study abroad programs, and hands-on learning experiences. This is Calvin University School of Business. Your future begins here.
Welcome inside the pregame show built by Eastbrook Homes for the final time this year, getting ready for kickoff for the Skipper No String Planning for Success segment with head coach Trent Figg. And before we talk about this matchup today with the Albion Britons, got to reflect on last week. Yeah. Special day last Saturday, the first ever rivalry game, historic day for West Michigan football, certainly for Calvin football. You woke up Sunday morning. What were your reflections on Saturday?
It was a great day for Calvin University, right? When you look at what this event does to bring people together, that's really cool. I think our players now understand fully what the Calvin Hope rivalry means. Not that they didn't going into it, but now they've felt it. Now they see and they feel what that looks like. And so, every year that's going to become a bigger and a better game for us. Is that we really challenged our guys at halftime. What does it look like in the second half? It's 35-0 at halftime. 1 stop in a row, 2 stops in a row, 3 stops in a row, 1 score. What does that look like for our team going forward? When we look at the score, it was 7-3 in the second half in favor of the Calvin Knights. And so nobody keeps score of the second half. I totally understand we lost the game, but there's a lot to build on from that game because when you look at it, it wasn't like Hope went out and took out all their starters. They went out and played. 2 fourth down stops defensively, huge for us. Offense scores a touchdown. They have held 5 teams to 0 points this year. And so there were some things in there that you can look at and say, like, man, these guys are getting there.
Think about that second half. Again, a 7-3 margin for Calvin. Those starters were in there a good portion of the third quarter for Hope, one of the top teams in the country, averaging 45 points versus 8 points a game. Sure. Played them tough in the third quarter. And then you go to their backups, the Hope backups, and let's look at next year, 2025. Those are the players that Calvin's going to play against next year. So it was a really positive second half. Who really emerged for you in this game as somebody who you saw play and say, hey, they stepped up against one of the best teams in the country?
So when you look at our linebacking core, I thought they did a great job. And those guys have done a great job all year, but man, they were physical. I mean, we knew it was going to be a physical game, and they were physical all day long. And then 2 other guys that really stand out to me, both of our backup quarterbacks. So Drake and Hayden both played a whole bunch. Drake obviously played quarterback. Hayden played some slot and some running back. But just to get those guys real game experience. I know that Drake went in there and threw an interception. looking back, I'm so glad he did, because he got in there and he got to feel the moment was not too big for him. He made the wrong read, but he went out there and he was very poised, very composed. Hayden played a ton. I mean, those guys, we're going to lean on those guys heavily next year, to play for us. So it was great to get those guys out there.
Season finale today. Albion comes in. I want to first ask you about the Britons. It's clear in this league, Alma and Hope were forecasted to be at the top of the standings, and they are.
And they are.
And Hope has emerged as one of the top teams in the country. Albion's 4-2, 6-3 overall. How does Albion stack up just as a team in general compared to, say, what we've seen here at our home games with Alma and Hope?
Yeah, so after playing all those teams so far, I would put, obviously Alma and Hope, just like it says, are at the top. I would put Albion right below them, and I'd put everybody else kind of in the same tier. I hate to do that, but that's kind of how I see them. They start 13 seniors today, 8 on offense, 5 on defense, so they'll be motivated. I mean, they'll be, obviously this is their last game ever for those guys, but they're a very solid operation.
So it's a Saturday afternoon, and another great quarterback, a veteran quarterback,
For sure,
battles the Calvin Knights today. Luke Lovell is number 2 really behind Carter St. John, the All-American from Alma in so many categories.
Yeah.
What does he bring to the table compared to some of the other guys we've seen? Because he's a senior and he's a good one.
When you look at him, he's efficient. He's completing 74% of his passes, the highest in our league, and so very efficient with what he does. He runs their offense. It's a quarterback-driven offense, RPO-based offense, and that's what he does.
Veteran group of receivers.
Yeah.
Big tight end, couple of seniors on the perimeter. So guys who, again, you've seen those types of players this year. How is our secondary ready for this matchup today?
Yeah, the good thing is we've had a ton of experience. This receiving core is good. Albion has great team speed, but our receivers have seen it now all year long, and so I would put them up there with Alma and Hope's skill guys, and we've seen those guys. So that you can't buy experience. And so our guys, they have more experience now.
Go to the other side of the ball, and it is an Albion defense that is giving up a lot of yardage through the air and is last in the conference in sacks.
Yeah.
And that's been
great.
a problem for Calvin in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Where do you see the opportunities with the Albion defense today against our offense?
Yeah, so just like you're saying, I think that Chase needs to have a great game today. Throwing the football, receivers need to do a good job. Jair is very motivated. It's his last football game as a college football player. We need to be balanced, but the whole deal for us is staying what I call on schedule, so not playing second and long. We've got to be productive on first down and stay, on schedule from a play calling standpoint, and that's the whole key today.
All right, should be a good one today. We have more to talk about, though. We're going to come back, and when we do, we'll talk about 2 really fun topics: the Oregon Ducks and 7 seniors.
7 seniors.
That are really, really special to you for the Calvin Knights. Back after this on the Calvin Sports Network. Welcome back to the Planning for Success presented by Skipper and Ostrink Wealth Management. Bob Sack here with head coach of Calvin University football, Trent Figg. We have you set for the Albion game, but there's a couple other fun topics to talk about today. We haven't talked about these all year. Everybody wants to know about them, though, so I need to ask you about a couple things. First, let's talk about your buddy, Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
I was thinking 2 weeks ago, we were playing at Olivet, and literally 60, 70 miles away on the same afternoon in the big house, Dan Lanning brought his Oregon Ducks into Ann Arbor to face Michigan.
For sure.
You guys are college roommates, in each other's weddings, best buddies here for many, many years. What's it been like watching your friend coach what is now the #1 team in the country?
It's been really cool. So I was there his first year, so when he really kind of laid the ground floor, and I'm not shocked at all by the way he moves about every single day, the way he prepares, the way he laid the foundation there. I'm not shocked at all. I'm so happy for those guys, for those players, for the fan base out there. I mean, they're playing at a very high level right now.
What's been the level of your contact with him throughout the football season? You both are very busy with your own teams and programs, but how much have you connected?
So in season, it's a lot just through text, right? We'll text back and forth. We learn about each other through our wives, really. My wife and his wife are great friends, and so they talk on the phone all the time. So I really learn what's going on in his life through his wife, through my wife. So
your level of paying attention to the college football playoffs and that whole process is minimal given what's involved with running Calvin's football program.
Right.
But you got to be peeking ahead a little
for
bit.
Sure, absolutely.
Early thought, because this is the last time we get you for this season.
Yeah.
Who's Trent Figg picking will meet Oregon in the national championship game?
Wow, that's a great. It'll really depend how the bracket shakes out. I mean, wow. I mean, it's crazy at the top right now. I think the 2 best teams are Oregon and Ohio State, and so if that can shake out to meet in the championship, To me, those are the two best teams right now.
They could meet 3 times this year.
Yeah, exactly, which would be very interesting.
All right, back to Calvin football. This is a special day because, believe it or not, we have senior day today.
Yep.
And when you talk about a team that has 88 freshmen and a team that's been discussed all year long as how young they are, there are still a few guys who bought into this program and this product years ago. I want to go through those with you and give you a chance to just reflect on kids who will always be special to you for doing what they've done. You've got some guys who haven't seen a lot of action, David Ensley, Wyatt Steensma, and a manager, Skylar Koopmans. Those guys behind the scenes, they don't get the playing time, but yet they've been important in this process as well.
Those guys are huge. I'll start with Skylar. He's a student manager for us. Wow, he's like our director of football operations. He does everything. He signals for us on defense, gets the post-game meal. I mean, every single day, he's setting up equipment, setting up cameras. All the behind-the-scenes stuff that people don't see couldn't happen without him. So he's done just a phenomenal job. David Ensley's a guy that actually came over to us last year from Calvin's hockey team. He's been on our offensive line. He's been a scout offensive lineman for us. Selfless whenever I think about him, man. He just does whatever it takes for the team. And then Wyatt Steensma is a guy that came in that very first class, transferred from Alma, actually played baseball at Alma, and has been a receiver and a DB, both for us, kind of whatever we needed body type-wise, and another guy that just puts the team ahead of himself every day.
This Calvin defense has improved all season long. I think after the Alma game, the improvement just week to week to week has been so good. And 2 of the guys who really have come on in the month of October have been Paul Vanderplug, with great run support from the safety spot, and his fellow senior in that defensive unit, Ike Nordhaus, who really has contributed to that linebacking core. How have those guys developed as football players? I know what you think about them as young men, but how about football players?
Yeah, unbelievable the development those guys have made. So, funny story about Paul. When I got introduced in my press conference, Paul actually dressed up as the mascot. I had no clue. He was a student at Calvin, right? And he was the mascot to take pictures because they needed another guy who wasn't very tall, you know? And so he came to me right after that photo shoot, was like, hey, I want to be on your team. I had no clue who Paul was. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, come on. He's turned into just be a heck of a player for us. And then Ike Nordhaus, phenomenal young man. I mean, he has put himself, had no clue out how he would turn out. Last fall, saw signs of him being a good football player. Then last spring, he had an internship and didn't go through spring ball with us and just worked his tail off. And he has gotten better I wish we had, these guys for another season because they've just done a phenomenal job.
So whereas Nordhaus and Vanderplug have been in Calvin since they were freshmen and in a sense joined the team, the 3 seniors on offense are all transfers.
For sure.
Bryce Perko is an offensive tackle. He's been important this year through a year of injuries on the offensive line. And then, of course, in the backfield, the 2 guys who have really stirred the offensive drink all year long, Chase Bradman and Jair Harden.
For sure. I can't thank those guys enough for what they've done. Bryce Perko came to us right before week 2. He's like, Coach, I know our offensive line. He was playing defensive end. He said, I know our O-line's beat up. This was on a Monday. He said, I played some O-tackle at Davenport. Like, that's what I need to do for our team. Threw him over there. 3 days later, he started a game. And he's been in and out of the starting lineup all year. Phenomenal young man. Jair came to us this summer, again from Davenport. Said, Coach, I want a chance. I want a chance to prove to the world what I can do as a running back. And I think he's shown everybody what he can do. And then Chase, he's led our offense. He is a phenomenal football player. And so, he was, where he was for 4 years before that and was the backup and never really got a chance on game day to show what he can do. My gosh, I'm so thankful he's here. I mean, as a young man, all 7 of those guys, can't thank him enough.
It's going to be an emotional day because I can sense in your voice, and I can feel it too, just what those guys have meant to Calvin football as this has been launched this year. Trent Fig, thanks so much for a great season. I know there's a lot to talk about for 2025, and I can't wait to do it in a few months when we get ready for next year. But in the meantime, go get the Britons today.
I appreciate that. Thanks to all of Calvin Knight Nation for all your support.
Thanks, Trent, for a great season this year, and look forward to talking much more about 2025 here in the coming weeks. In the meantime, we get you ready for kickoff just moments away as the pregame show built by Eastbrook Homes marches on here on the Calvin Sports Network, on Michigan Sports Radio and AM 1230 Talk WTKG.
Yeah, I'd say Marcus is 60. Sorry, we're on 500.
Welcome back to the pregame show built by Eastbrook Homes as we count down to kickoff of this Calvin Albion football game. With today's game being the season finale, it's also senior day, a chance to honor Calvin players competing in their final football game. Down on the field now, we welcome in the third member of our crew, Levi Suter, who is with a couple of parents of one of today's seniors, Chase Bradman's parents, Marcus and Christy Bradman. Levi?
Thank you, Bob. I'm here with Marcus and Christy Bradman, parents of Chase Bradman. Listen, you guys have spent so much time, so much effort, so many miles traveled to support Chase. Coming into today, it's his last football game ever. What are your reflections and your feelings towards this happening?
It's a little bit bittersweet. I mean, it's been a long journey from his youth football days to high school to going to Indiana Wesleyan to now here. But you know what? It's been rewarding also. I mean, it's been a great opportunity. Chase has made some amazing friends along the way. We've made amazing friends along the way, and it's just been an awesome journey.
Yeah.
She agrees. So, second question here for you. You guys made a difficult decision with Chase to move from Indiana Wesleyan to Calvin. What has this year been like for him to be the first Calvin football quarterback in history?
Well, it's kind of funny. The stars lined up. I mean, when he left 4 years ago to Indiana Wesleyan, there was no football here at Calvin. But, you know, he graduated last year, graduated early, had a little bit of eligibility because of COVID and redshirt. And, you know, the stars kind of lined up. And, you know, ultimately look at it, maybe it was God's plan for him to come back here. And it's just been great for him to be able to bring some of his experience, you know, to the university here and be able to have him in our backyard. You know, it's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been great just having him play another year and get to, you know, have this for one more year and meet new friends and be part of this first year. It's been awesome.
Thank you guys so much. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks, Levi Suter. Look forward to talking more about these seniors as we move through this afternoon. Hey, kickoff is coming up. When we return, we'll talk more about this Albion Britain team that Calvin faces today. But first, we send you to some important messages here on the Calvin Sports Network, MichiganSportsRadio.com, and AM 1230, Talk WTKG.
At Calvin University, you can dream bigger, think deeper, aim higher. World-class faculty empower students to go beyond what they ever thought possible as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. Calvin University, go beyond.
The mission statement of our program is building champions for life. And I truly mean that when I say that. To me, there's two types of programs. There's transactional and there's transformational. And we are building a transformational football program here because we want our young men to leave prepared for the rest of their lives. And so when we talk about being champions, we talk about four different areas: in the classroom, in the community, on the field, and then champions of our faith. And all four pieces are so important to what we're doing.
Welcome back to Grand Rapids Christian High School for the final day of what has been a very entertaining football season in Calvin's inaugural season. And Jason Hutton handling the color today, along with myself, Bob Sack, handling your play-by-play. Speaking of entertaining, I think today's game could really be fun to watch because we have two offenses that can really bust out against some vulnerable pass defenses. Let's talk about Albion's offense first. Luke Lovell, he's their senior quarterback. It is a fifth-year senior. It seems like every Saturday Calvin's meeting a fifth-year senior quarterback. Today is no different. This Albion team is potent.
Yeah, and Luke Lovell's really good, and that's exactly. Remember way back at the end of September when we were down at Kalamazoo, and it was Josh Nichols and an experienced guy. And that's kind of what you're getting here with Luke Lovell, another guy who's just really good, who's been there and done that. And he's got really good receivers. He loves to spread the ball around, and Calvin's going to have to make him uncomfortable. And you always say that when you play good quarterbacks, you can't give them time to pick you apart. And right now, you know, very early in this program, rushing the passer has not been a strength of Calvin, but defense coordinator Josh Lawson and his group, they're going to have to find a way to get to Lovell a little bit. And they have a good offensive line in front of him. So it's a challenge today for sure. And Albion's outstanding, but you know, they're going to have to find a way to get some pressure onto number 7 because he is going to pick you apart if you give him time.
Jay, what jumps out of me in looking at the stat sheet is the wide variety of receivers to whom Lovell will throw. Yeah. You mentioned how he spreads it around. This is a team that has the second best offensive passing attack in the conference, and yet there's not one player in the top 5 on receiving. Their leading receiver has just 37 catches, Dylan Dennison. So there's a number of guys. What complications does that create for this Calvin secondary?
Well, big time, because, you know, defending the pass has not been a Calvin strength. And you're right. I mean, listed on the 2 deep, they're going to use all of these receivers. And we'll see C.J. Weems from Godwin Heights. We'll see Devin Fridley-Bell from Grand Rapids Catholic Central. But Aiden Adams, Dylan Dennison, there's a lot of receivers. And let's not forget, they'll use the tight end as well. Trevor Smith is a Hopkins guy. And they're going to throw the ball to their backfield as well. So it's a lot of guys that Lovell can use. We'll see a lot of different formations from Albion, and it's going to be important for this young Calvin defense to recognize formations and personnel to kind of understand what's coming at them.
On the other side of the ball, there's a sense of optimism here for Calvin to be able to move the football largely through the air. Albion comes in with the last-ranked passing defense in the MIAA, and here's another key stat. They don't sack the quarterback like many teams who Calvin has faced as of late. So could this be a day for Chase Bradman to have one of his better aerial attacks?
Well, they have to keep him upright. That's always a key for Calvin, right? And they have not been great at protecting the passer this season. So if Chase Bradman can get some time, we know he's got good receivers to get the ball. We saw Luke Mitchmerheisen in that game at Kalamazoo. Definitely a weapon. Hunter Hogan has been battling through some injuries. We expect to see him play a little bit tonight. They're going to want to get Seven the ball if they can. No Jude Klunder, which is a factor. But, yeah, if Chase Bradman can stay upright here, I do think Calvin has some potential to get the ball on the outside, on the perimeter, and make some plays against this Albion defense.
Interesting to talk about Mishmerheisen. He comes into the game as one of the top receivers in the MIAA conference, the big 6'7", 220-pound freshman from Holland Christian with 41 catches this year. That's good for 6th in the league. But I've noticed in the last couple of weeks against Olivet and against Hope last week, teams are watching him and keeping an eye on him much better than they were earlier in the season. So now Calvin late into the year, Jay, is like the secrets are out. They're out. There's no unknowns about this team anymore, and it makes it a little more difficult. All right, as we get near the kickoff, what's your overall path, if you had to develop one for Trent Fig and the Knights, the path to competitiveness and perhaps a victory today?
Well, they're going to have to win the turnover battle, first of all. I mean, they're not at a point where they can turn the football over and still have a chance to win, especially against a program and a team as good as Albion. They're going to have to protect Chase Bradman. They're going to have to keep him upright, and they're going to have to get at least a little bit of pressure from time to time on Luke Lovell. Those are the big three for me for Calvin to have a chance to be competitive here tonight.
All right, here come the Knights, led out by their captains, Chase Bradman, KJ Hart, Paul Vanderplug, as they take the field for this season finale in this inaugural year. A little bit of a change in that team entrance today. The flag bearer running out on the field, leading the Knights out onto the gridiron this afternoon, is none other than the newly named president of Calvin University, Greg Elzinga, and he did a marvelous job leading the team out on the field. He's actually replacing Mary Hulst, Pastor Mary Hulst, who's out today she's on the DL for the day, but I know she is watching at home, and we miss her today, and she should be happy to know that her boss did a really good job running the team out on the field with that flag.
Well, if it ends up turning into Calvin's first ever MIAA win, she might get Wally picked.
That's right.
So we'll have to see how that all plays out.
I think she'd be delighted to hear that. Beautiful day today for football. Overcast clouds. Storm Team 8 weather has us in the low to mid 50s today. No rain in the forecast. A little canopy of clouds, but nonetheless a really perfect November afternoon in what has been, Jason Hutton, I would say the best fall for football I can ever remember in all the years of watching games and calling games, and I would say you would agree.
100% I would agree. You know, the last, 5 to 10 years with all the turf fields in this area, I'm talking about at the high school level, we've seen playoff games from grass fields be moved. I haven't seen much of that this year because these grass fields are in excellent condition because there just hasn't been much rain, especially on game day. And that's transferred over to Saturday. Saturday's been a really good day for weather, and it's overcast today, but it's not cold, not what you would expect for a mid-November day, and it's a great day to play football.
Albion has won the toss. They deferred to the second half, so they will kick it off. Jake Neuenhaus and Russell Ronan Dixon back deep to receive the kickoff from Logan Gronwitsky, the junior kicker from Niles. And we are underway here in Grand Rapids. Albion and Calvin set to do battle on the gridiron as Gronwitsky's kick flies through the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. We get our first look, of course, at that Calvin offense led by former South Christian star and grad transfer from Indiana Wesleyan, Chase Bradman. He is starting his 10th game. And you can see that offensive lineup that he'll be joined by. Anybody stand out to you, Jason, as you look at that offensive lineup presented by Mercantile Bank?
Well, we talked a little bit about Mitch Berheisen and Hogan, but Carter Bilesma to me has been a real pleasant surprise. Really a guy who can go catch the ball from the tight end position. Let's see if they look to get him involved today.
On 1st and 10, the give is to Harden. He is just wrapped up by Orlando Daniels, the defensive tackle. Let's set that on that 1 yard, loss of 1 yard. Let's set that Calvin offensive line for you. They will play, as Jason said, a crucial role in this football game.
Well, Wynton Napier is going to be a guy, right? The freshman from Whitehall. Got to get him going on the left tackle.
On 2nd down and 11, Bradman finds Seth Ritzma along the left sideline for a 10-yard gain, run out of bounds by Jackson Taylor near the 1st down marker, so sets up a big 3rd down and 1. Knights quickly to the line. Hogan's slot left. Mishmer Heisman wide to the right on 3rd and 1. Here's a quick tunnel screen to Hogan. He's got it outside the numbers and has a 1st down across the 40 to the 42. Adam Mills slid over to make that tackle. Let's set up that Albion defense for the Britons. First see their front 6. Michael Pruchnick, the senior from Macomb. On 1st and 10, Bradman rolls right, finds Mishmer Heisen along the right sideline as that up-tempo offense completes a pass in front of Ryan Dybus, the linebacker, for an 8-yard gain.
Well, early rhythm for Bradman. You talked about it. Get him into that short passing, and that's what they did. Hogan to the left, and then Mitch Merheisen to the right. It's working.
On 2nd and 2, it's Mitch Merheisen to the right. Catches the ball at the 50 and then lunges forward for a 1st down to the 47. Joe Zarnicki there to make the stop, and the Knights on the move here. 1st and 10. Very reminiscent, Jason, of the first drive last week against Hope, when they marched down the field from their own 25 all the way to the Hope 18 before missing a field goal.
I thought that was an important moment in that game. To not get points out of that drive after such positive offense was a big factor going forward in that game. Let's see if Calvin can get points today on this first drive.
Calvin's offense keeps them honest with a running play to Jair Harden over left guard. Jaith Joseph stood him up there. A gain of 2, 2nd and 8 from the 45. We'll set that Albion defense momentarily as Bradman now looks to the sideline. He has Hogan in the right slot. Carter Bilesma, the H-back, to the right. Harden off the right hip of Bradman, looking at that 4-man front. Bradman fakes to the right. Here comes the rush, and he's going to be sacked back at the 43. Ryan Dybus busting through there off that left side to make the tackle on this 3rd down. Let's set up that Albion defense. Brought to you by Mercantile Bank. Their front 6 has Michael Pruchnick and Connor Dewan and Orlando Daniels. Across the front is a 3-man down line trio. Connor Davey, Adam Mills, and Jaith Joseph are the linebackers. Joe Zarnicki, Jackson Taylor, Miguel Ocampo are in the secondary. On 3rd down and 20, Bradman rolls to his left, airmails it along the left sideline down at the 40, intended for Ritzma. Over his head, incomplete, and the drive will stall, bringing on Logan Knapp and the Calvin punt team. And boy, you talked about that pass pro, and the protection there broke down as Ryan Dybus makes the big sack that forces 3rd and long.
Well, Dybus is the key to this Albion defense, if you ask me. Are they a 3-3-5? Are they a 3-4? Dybus's versatility to play both linebacker and get in the coverage game is huge for this Britons defense. And that time we saw Calvin move the pocket by design there to try to protect Bradman, but it was good coverage by Albion downfield.
Knapp standing back at his 27. He'll kick it deep to Dorian Armstrong. High, booming spiral kick. Fairly short, though. That fair caught by Armstrong at the 31. 1st and 10 there for the Albion offense. Let's take a look at the Albion offense. We get our first look at their starting backfield and receivers. The quarterback is Luke Lovell from Pinckney, and a host of players who will really rotate throughout this football game.
Yeah, I'm looking at Trevor Smith, the senior out of Hopkins. He played quarterback for Cody Francis, and the Vikings was really good. They had some good teams back in his day with the Vikings. He's bigger now in terms of adding weight. He can play tight end. They can throw it to him, but he's a really good blocker as well, and one of those many receivers that Lovell will throw it to.
Lovell with a tight bunch receiver formation set to the left on 1st and 10. He'll hand to Colby Taylor Browning. He's their leading rusher. Crashes his way over right tackle to about the 38. Stood up by Trevor Martins. the leading tackle. Let's set up that Albion offensive line now. Brought to you by Mercantile Bank. Interesting, too, Jason, it is an entire unit, 22 players for Albion, Michigan homegrown.
Yeah,
So
they recruit the area for sure. I remember talking to Dusty Buer back when he was a coach there, and he tried to get into Grand Rapids, but didn't have a lot of success. But they got a lot of Michigan guys on the roster.
Lovell fakes to Browning and then guns it over the middle, complete to Dylan Dennison, his favorite target in Calvin territory. Caden Kolanowski, the defender, who Dennison ran a beautiful in route down to the 42-yard line, and Lovell delivered a strike. 1st and 10 at the 42 of Calvin for Albion.
You want to get Lovell uncomfortable on that timing route. They're so good at that play. There's really no time. It's a two-step drop. The ball is out and on the money from Lovell.
Calvin shows blitz, back to throw his Lovell down the left sideline. Good coverage by Jair Nolan, intended for Aiden Adams. Incomplete. A little bit of pressure there. Let's set up this Calvin defense now, as they've got to deal with a big passing attack. Jair Nolan is part of that secondary, along with Caden Kolanowski, Paul Vanderplug, Gage Jones, and Brady Jacobs make up that umbrella secondary.
Well, up front, I mean, we got to see Austin Fennick, the nose tackle, impose his will. He's outstanding as a freshman. And then I thought Trevor Martins, the linebacker from Jennison's been really solid for them all year.
On 2nd and 10, Lovell finds an open tight end. That is Trevor Smith rumbling down the right sideline for a big gainer inside the red zone. Finally run out of bounds by Kolanowski. And that pickup moves the chains down a 33-yard gain down to the 10-yard line.
That's the versatility of Smith. They cross the receivers center, and that really is tough to cover in man coverage, and they got a big gain out of it.
On 1st and 10, Lovell dump it out in the right flat, incomplete, intended for Colby Taylor Browning.
You can see the game plan for Albion. They get the ball out of Lovell's hands quickly. They know Calvin's going to want to come after him, and these have all been quick timing passes, and it's been effective bringing them all the way down to the 10-yard line here.
Vanderplug read that well, and perhaps Browning heard some footsteps on that 1st and 10. Now 2nd and goal at the 10-yard line. That Calvin defense across the front has Isaiah Hill, Austin Fennick, and Jaden Lewis. And on 2nd and 10, Lovell with Taylor Browning to his left. Receivers, 2 of them split to the left. He'll fake to Browning, look that way. A lot of time in the pocket. Now throws deep in the end zone. Incomplete over the outstretched hands of Aiden Adams. Good coverage in that back line by Kolanowski. A lot of time for Lovell to fire it, but give credit to that Calvin secondary.
Well, Kolanowski especially was really good on that play. He wanted to go to Adams early, and Kolanowski was all over it. And yes, Lovell had time, but it's tough to cover that long in man-to-man especially. But Kolanowski never gave Adams any room, and he was able to break up the pass as well. Nice job by the freshman safety.
This drive started at the 32-yard line of Albion. They've moved 58 yards down to the 10. Big 3rd down and goal for the Britons at the 10-yard line. Fridley Bell split to the right alongside C.J. Weems. Back to throw is Lovell, looking that way to the right. Here comes the pressure. He throws over the middle. It's caught in the end zone for the touchdown. Boy, tight window there to Aiden Adams, and the graduate transfer caught it just in front of Jair Nolan for the score, and Albion's on the board first.
Well, they dialed up the pressure that time. Calvin brought both Martins and Nordhaus on a blitz, and nobody got home. An excellent job by Colby Taylor Browning picking up the blitz, giving Lovell time, and boy, he was able to find his receiver, and we can see Luke Lovell's ability on that first drive, and Albion on the board first.
On for the extra point is Logan Grawinski. Left-footed boot is good, and with 10:02 to go in the first quarter, the Britons strike first. They lead it 7-0. You're watching and listening on the Calvin Sports Network on MichiganSportsRadio.com and AM 1230 Talk WTKG. Today's broadcast is sponsored by Capital and Risk Management Services. Since 1987, Capital and Risk Management Services has supported Knight Nation's financial and risk management needs with strategic solutions for a secure tomorrow. Reach out to Russ Fausing today at 312-458-4523. Well, Calvin's offense moved the ball for a couple of first downs on their initial possession, but the drive stalled by virtue of a big defensive sack by Ryan Dybus, and that led to a Calvin punt. Albion, starting at their own 32, quickly moves 68 yards to take the 7-0 lead here with 5 minutes gone in the first quarter.
I'm going to be really interested to see what Calvin does here in this next possession. They did not try the edges at all on the ground. Coach Trent Figg said they want to get it going north and south, but I think there's some potential to try to get the edges here, especially with Jair Harden, and I wonder if they won't try some of that here in this next possession.
Kickoff through the end zone for a touchback. 1st and 10 for the Knights. Chase Bradman coming into the game with a 59% completion rate. He's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards, now over 2,000 yards with his first quarter performance. 17 touchdowns to go with 9 interceptions. 4th in the MIAA in passing. But a good season for Bradman, and he's done it under a lot of duress at times, and that'll be a key here for Calvin in this game against Albion. 1st and 10 from the 25. In motion is Seth Anderson, right to left. They fake it to him. Bradman rolling to his right, avoids a rush from Daniels, flips it over to Carter Baalsma dangerously at the 30-yard line, broken up by Devin Pearson, and that was close.
Boy, Baalsma trying to make the catch in traffic, got hit there. You're right, that was a dangerous pass by Chase Bradman. I thought maybe he'd run with it. But again, staying behind, staying off schedule, 2nd and 10 for Calvin, not where they want to be. This Albion defense, you got to give them credit. They're very sound fundamentally, and everybody in the right spot on that play, and Calvin unable to get ahead of schedule here on 1st down.
This afternoon's kickoff featured a game ball delivery from Calvin student Titan Scott. He's a student at Calvin and delighted to be part of the broadcast and the production today. Today's kickoff brought to you by Mercantile Bank, featuring Merc Perks Plus checking. Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 for Calvin at their own 25. Jair Harden, 6th in the MIAA in rushing. And, of course, Mitch Morheisen 6th in receiving. So some Calvin offensive weapons looking to unleash here in this first half. Here's a quick screen to Seth Anderson along the right side. He wiggles his way up the sideline near a 1st down to the 34. Good blocking out front. Run out of bounds by Miguel Ocampo. Just shy. So big 3rd and 1 here for Calvin to pick up this 1st down and move the chains.
We know Hunter Hogan's going to be limited as he's battling through an injury as he has all season long. So Seth Anderson in that role there and got him the ball. Nice play by the freshman from Rockford. And now short yardage situation. What can Calvin do?
They'll throw for it. Anderson, the receiver, open on the left flat. He's got the 1st down. Good blocking again. Really the same play to the left side. And the freshman from Rockford, who comes into the game with 14 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown, grabs a couple of important receptions here on this 2nd drive of the game for Calvin.
Great job by Seth Ritzma, the wide receiver, blocking on the outside. Give him a lot of credit for that. And we can see Calvin not real confident in the running game, throwing those bubbles on 3rd and short.
Harden the ball carrier on 1st and 10, and that's a running play for 6 yards. Good 6-yard gain there. There's as much as Trent Figg wants to throw it today, you know that the running game's got to be established just to keep that defense honest. 2nd and 4 from the 49. Bradman quick drop, throws complete to Ritzma outside the numbers at the 45. Barrels his way down the sideline to the 37. Jackson Taylor tackled him there, and a 1st down as Seth Ritzma is slow to get up on along the sideline.
Boy, Calvin can just not afford injuries. They're such a banged-up football team at this point, and as you would expect, a first-year program, there's just not a ton of depth there as everybody's a young player almost on this team. But I will say the short passing game is really effective for Calvin right now, and at this point, Albion's going to continue to give a little cushion, keep everything in front of them, especially playing on the lead. But as long as Calvin can continue to stay on schedule, stay away from that sack, because right now the downfield passing game is not there as Albion's giving that cushion. That's why they can't afford the sack. But as long as Bradman can stay effective as he has been all season long for the Knights, you know, they're going to be in a good spot. Both possessions have now driven into Albion territory. This, their deepest penetration to the 37. The Knights need points because it's going to be tough to keep level off the scoreboard.
1st and 10 at the 37 after that grab by Ritzma. Caught 5 passes for 82 yards last week against Hope, and the lone touchdown for the Knights. From the 37, Harden to Bradman's right. Read option. The give is to Harden. He bounces it out to the edge. He's got room along the left sideline and motors his way down near a 1st down before Joe Zarnicki ushered him out there.
See, I really think Harden can have a big game today, Bob. You know, that play was designed to go inside, but he was able to bounce it outside, which we know Harden does best. And I think there's yards to be had on the outside against this Albion defense.
Picked up 9, 2nd and 1. Here's that quick tunnel screen to the right side. Hunter Hogan's got it and has a first down before Ryan Dybus tripped him up at the 23, so it's pretty clear what the strategy is with these perimeter passes.
And they're effective, but what's going to happen when we get down here in this red area? Because now the secondary is going to creep up a little bit because there's less field to defend. Calvin's got to finish these drives. They're not going to beat Albion kicking field goals.
From the 23, Jair Harden dances his way along the right side of that offensive line. Connor Davey, the converted tight end, over to make the stop from Detroit Catholic Central. Harden picked up 3, so it's 2nd and a long 7 for the Calvin offense. Bradman, play action, swing pass left side to Hogan, gets a nice block from Seth Anderson, cuts it back inside and is near a first down at the 13.
Yeah, these quick passes, you need receivers to block. We saw Seth Ritzma earlier. Now Seth Anderson. If Calvin's going to block this well on the outside, it's going to lead to success.
Picked up 6, a yard shy of the first down. Bradman will throw to it on 3rd and 1. End zone, he's got a man, and it is touchdown, Calvin Knights. Seth Anderson on a back shoulder throw beats Jackson Taylor in the left corner, and Calvin is an extra point away from tying this up.
That's what we call a reward. Anderson with the great block on the previous play. This time you throw it to him and you give the kid a touchdown. Great athletic play by Seth Anderson to go and get the ball. Excellent placement from Bradman. And this is what Calvin has to do. Cash in the red zone. And a good start here in this first quarter for the Knights.
Sal Ruffino on to attempt the extra point. Seth Anderson with his 2nd touchdown of the season. Bradman gets the snap from Rowan Stewart down, knocks it through, and with 6:45 to go, we're all knotted up, 7-7 here from Grand Rapids Christian. As Jason's talked about, it's that Calvin pass defense that will be so critical in this game. Levi Suter is down on the sidelines, and he's got some thoughts on what Calvin's secondary needs to do and what their defense needs to do to stop Luke Level. Levi?
Thanks, Bob. Hey, one of the things that the Knights notice in the film room this week is that Luke Lovell, he drops back way more than most quarterbacks in the MIAA. So they're sending different blitz packages at Albion to be able to stop the long pass game. They're trying to get the short check down passes because the Knights have started out the game in man-to-man. Now, will they continue that? We'll see. They said if it's not working, they're going to push it back later, back to their zone defense that they usually run later into the game. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks, Levi. Good stuff. That Calvin defense will be tested here on the 2nd possession. 7-7. Good answer for Calvin's offense, though.
Yeah, huge answer. You can't give Albion the ball back with the lead. That was an excellent drive from the offense. Well done by Chase Bradman and his receivers. I like the way they're working Hunter Hogan in there. Not just taking a whole series off. Get him in there on some important plays. And a big touchdown catch from Seth Anderson. I thought Anderson was really good on that drive. We talk about the rotations for Calvin at all positions, really. And Anderson on that series, that was his series, making the most of it and really helped Calvin on that touchdown drive.
Kicking team, number 5. Ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. Right hash, first down, Albion.
You saw Evan Raymond's kick as he was gunning for that coffin corner, just sort of check up and take a quick hard left turn and slip out of bounds at about the 18. So a miscue there off the kickoff that provides Albion with good field position. 1st and 10 on the 35. 7-7, 6:45 to go. Luke Lovell back to work. 2 receivers out to the left from the right hash. He'll give it to Taylor Browning. He dances along the right side going nowhere as Colin Diekman was able to penetrate through and drop him for a 1-yard loss. That last touchdown drive, a Paris Motors TD drive summary, had Chase Bradman moving the Knights 10 plays, 75 yards in 10 plays. Seth Anderson with a 13-yard touchdown pass. Find your next drive at Paris Motors, a fantastic selection of used cars to meet your specs and budget right here in Grand Rapids.
Nice job by that Calvin defensive line to keep the offensive line from getting to the 2nd level. That allowed Diekman to come up and make that play.
2nd and 10. Browning's got it again, going nowhere. Probing that left side, and Trevor Martins, who has just been outstanding here this season, stood him up at the line of scrimmage, maybe fell for a yard. Be 3rd down and 9.
These plays, Bob, are going to make the difference in this game. This is a golden opportunity for Calvin to get off the field defensively. 3rd down and long. You can't let Lovell beat you here with his great receivers. If he has time, it's going to be tough. 3rd and long, though. Golden opportunity for the Knights.
5 DBs in the lineup. Lovell back to throw, has time, goes deep over the middle, and he's got his man down at the 20-yard line. Great throw and catch. It was Cameron Moore right in front of Dylan DeHoop, and what a throw by Lovell.
Incredible throw by Lovell, an incredible catch by Moore. Dylan DeHoop did everything right. He was in perfect position. He made an excellent play on the football. Albion just did everything a little bit better. That's a really good play by Lovell and Moore.
Back to the red zone comes Albion. 1st and 10 at the Calvin 20.
Knights did blitz again. They sent 2 linebackers, but Lovell got the ball out and threw it right in the right spot.
3 receivers out to the left, so they run to the right. Flag comes in as Taylor Browning has an open space along the right sideline to scamper into the end zone, but I think this one's going to be nullified, Jay, because they may get Albion for a hold here.
Yeah, Knights dodged a bullet there. Albion loves to run that outside zone, and that time it was wide open on the right side, but this one's going to come back.
Defense, number 72. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down.
I think the official there was referring to the offense, not the defense. That would have been Deorian Bond, the 6'3" junior from Saginaw Swan Valley.
I realize that holding was a factor on that play, but Calvin did a really good job of the inside run on 1st and 2nd down of this drive. They're going to have to stop and set the edge and keep them from getting the corner there, which they didn't on that play.
1st and 10 from the Calvin 30. Just under 5 to go here in the 1st quarter. Lovell out of the pistol. He'll fake the run to the right, throw to the right side. Now, Smith has got it down the right sideline. He's got a blocker in front of him and then motors into the end zone for the touchdown. Trevor Smith with his touchdown catch, a beautifully designed play. They snuck him out into the flat after that fake went to the running play to the left. They snuck him out in the right flat. Lovell delivered it perfectly, and Smith picks up his 5th TD of the year on that 30-yard TD pass.
Well, a great time for that play call, too, because Albion just had the touchdown running to the outside zone. You come back and you fake it with the outside zone. You run naked bootleg, and you sneak Smith out of there wide open for a touchdown. Really good play call from Albion and excellent execution.
Fans, today's featured Calvin football student athlete planning for success is Caden Kolanowski. He's a defensive back from Goodrich. In his redshirt freshman season, Caden is a kinesiology major with a pre-professional health field emphasis. He is a Calvin's Dean List student, holding a grade point average of 3.5. That's Caden Kolanowski, and that's Planning for Success, presented by Skipper No Strength Wealth Management, providing the financial clarity, solutions, and service that allow you to focus on what you care about most.
You know, Mark D'Antonio was a coach at Michigan State. He used to talk about the inches, right? I mean, it's so true. When you talk about the inches that Calvin was from getting off the field, Dylan DeHoop in a great spot and was just inches from breaking that pass up, and it ends up being an Albion touchdown. They're really not that far away, but those plays end up adding up over the course of 60 minutes.
Nowinski on to boot it with the wind behind him. Pretty stiff breeze behind the kicker, and for the 3rd consecutive time, he sends it into the end zone for a touchback. Enrollment at Calvin University continues to climb for the 2nd straight year. Calvin is experiencing a double-digit percentage uptick in its first-year class. The 1,200 new students represent undergraduate and graduate learners from dozens of states and 46 countries around the world. Discover why Calvin is in demand. Schedule a visit today at calvin.edu/visit. 1st and 10 for Calvin. Be the 3rd time they've had the football, and they've been able to move it. Moved it on the 1st series before the drive stalled, and they had to punt it away. The 2nd series resulted in a touchdown pass from Bradman to Anderson on 1st and 10. Jair Harden starts to the left, now runs to his right. Orlando Daniels dumps him down for a loss. Flag comes in, Jason, from the linesman.
That's going to be a face mask. That's going to be good for Calvin. I'll tell you what, we talk about the Kalamazoo game when Calvin had 19 penalties go against him. The penalties early on here have been against Albion, so that'll be a break for the Knights.
Orlando Daniels, their best defensive lineman, a sophomore from Plymouth. 6'3", 255.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 13. 15 yards from the end of the run. 1st down, Calvin.
You know, Bob, Coach Fig told us this week that they want to run the ball between the tackles, set the tone. They're doing it. I mean, he is doing exactly what he said, but we know the strength of Harden is to get outside, and he's trying to bounce these runs outside, and that time The play didn't result in much, but the face mask with him trying to bounce it outside goes in the Knights' favor.
It's whistled on Adam Mills, the linebacker from Frankfurt. On 1st and 10, Harden's got it again, running to his right. Tries to sweep through a small crease on the right side. Connor Davey made the stop for a gain of maybe a yard.
Old buck sweep there as we just talked about the inside run. Steinbecker as well as Witten Napier both pull that time to lead the way for Harden.
On 2nd down and 9, Bradman will swing it out to Hunter Hogan in the left flat. He works his way up the sideline to the 47, sets up a big 3rd down play. So, Jason, at what point do you take a shot downfield? I don't know, the 3rd and 4 here is the place to do it, but every pass has been on the perimeter.
Yeah, at this point, I'd stay with it. It's been really good until Albion's going to come up and show that they're going to take away, or at least try to take away that short pass. I'm going to keep doing it.
Harden will take the handoff on 3rd down and 4, and he's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that play call. Calvin's been effective with that quick, short passing game. They have not ran it very well to this point, and now you're faced with a 4th and 5 on your own 45, and you're going to go for it here. But, boy, this play becomes monumental for the Knights. They can't give Luke Lovell the ball back in plus territory.
Connor DeWan made that last tackle. Bradman out of the shotgun. Now he'll back up and quick kick it from the 37. Sends a high end over end kick that will bounce neutrally at the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 there. Check that 23 for Albion, leading 14-7 with 3:15 to go. Around the MIAA today, brought to you by NAI Wasinski of West Michigan. West Michigan's largest independently owned commercial real estate firm. As always, 3 other games. Alma is at Trine, and Hope is at Olivet, while Kalamazoo entertains. Who do they entertain today? I missed that one. We'll get that for you. Kalamazoo's home anyway. The key game to watch, of course, Hope at Olivet, as the Dutchmen look to wrap up their championship outright today. On 1st and 10 out of the Wildcat, Colby Taylor Browning takes the snap and runs behind the right tackle for a pickup of 4. Paul Vanderplug up to make the stop.
By the way, the Flying Dutchmen well on their way to that first ever 10-0 regular season, up 28-0 at Olivet. Still in the first quarter.
Adrian is at Kalamazoo. Sorry about that. On 2nd down and 5 from the 26. New running back into the game for Albion is Nevin Smith, or rather Nevin Dent.
Well, great job by Austin Fennick, the nose tackle that time. Took on the block by the center, still got Smith down right at the line of scrimmage. I like the way the Calvin defensive line is playing to this point, especially against the run.
He's swallowed up by Fennick in that interior line. So here we go. Big 3rd down play. 3rd and 5.
Oh, boy.
3 receivers.
Confusion for that Calvin defense. Minahan runs off the field here at the last minute. Almost had 12 guys out there.
3 receivers out to the wide side, the left side for Luke Lovell. Straight back to pass. Here comes the rush. Throws it short underneath. Complete to Cameron Moore. But he's going to be short of the 1st down. Wrapped up by Kolanowski and Vanderplug, who read it perfectly. And they stop the receiver short of the sticks. It'll be 4th down and probably a long 2 here. We'll see what Travis Rundle decides to do with his high-octane offense.
Wow, I tell you what, they blitz Martin. Martin's up the middle again. Calvin is blitzing a lot. They are not getting home, but that time, Lovell getting rid of it quickly, and a great job by Kolanowski coming up from his safety spot to make the tackle short of the sticks. I'd be surprised if Albion goes for it here on their own 32-yard line, but they do appear to be lining up that way.
He'll mark it at the 32 with a yard to go. Calvin looks sell out the run. Browning with a direct snap. He runs over the left tackle. It's really close. Paul Vanderplug with a great play, Jason, to stop him. And he is going to be very, very close to that 1st down. Did he get it?
He got it. He sure did. A gutsy call that time by Rundle, I'll tell you what. But it pays off for Albion. Boy, another golden opportunity for Calvin. They run Lovell in motion out of the formation. They run a little wildcat. And that offensive line did a nice job opening up the hole. Secondary had to come up and try to make the play, and that one goes the way of the Britons.
Terrific effort by Vanderplug, but just short. Lovell back to throw on 1st and 10. Throws left sideline complete. Wide open is Aiden Adams in front of Jair Nolan. Another 1st down out over midfield to the 49. That's a nice ball thrown from the right hash to the left sideline, 15 yards down the field. Beautiful throw by Luke Lovell.
Yeah, there's no questioning Lovell's ability level. He's outstanding at this level, and this is Calvin trying to mix it up. That time they went zone. We've seen a lot of man from the Knights defense, and Mills just open that time in the deep, and the deep out in front of Nolan, and big gain for Albion.
Second highest rated quarterback in the MIAA is Lovell behind Carter St. John. On 1st and 10, we talk about Paul Vanderploeg. He does it again. A great read on the tight end, Ryan Veza, who had checked into the game, and they ran a little underneath a flare pass to him, and Vanderploeg read it like a book and dropped him for a 1-yard loss back at the 50.
I love the aggressiveness from Josh Lawson in this nice defense. If you're going to have your safeties play that close to the line of scrimmage, you're going to put your corners on an island. You're going to trust them. Excellent play by Vanderploeg, allows them to take away that short pass.
When we come back, it'll be 2nd and 11 in midfield for Albion. That's the end of the first quarter. It's a good one. Britain's 14, Knights 7. You're watching the Calvin Sports Network on MichiganSportsRadio.com and AM Tech 1230 WTKG.
Where will the next revolutionary idea come from? That next breakthrough in scientific research? At Calvin University, you can dream bigger, think deeper, aim higher. Our world-class faculty push students to keep asking hard questions and never settle for the status quo. Become part of a university that challenges students to go beyond as Christ's agents of renewal in the world. Calvin University, go beyond.
Back at Grand Rapids Christian, Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton as we start the second quarter. Albion on top 14-7. They have it 2nd and 11 at midfield. Luke Lovell, the all-conference quarterback, turns, gives to Tayshawn Nichols. Tries to get to the edge on the right side. Great contained by Noah Funk. Ike Nordhaus was there as well, and the 2 South Christian grads team up to drop Nichols for a short gain. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Another big 3rd down. So far, Albion's been really good on 3rd downs.
Yeah, this Calvin safeties are really good in run support. They're really good tacklers. Now they're going to have to be really good against the pass here, because here comes Lovell. He's been picking Calvin apart in these 3rd and long situations, and the Knights need somebody to step up, make a play here, and a chance to get off the field.
Dennison split wide to the left along with Weems. Out of the gun, Lovell straight back to throw, has time. Left sideline, a wide open receiver, Dylan Dennison at the 28-yard line. He's got a 1st down, drags tacklers with him down to the 24. Kolanowski first to meet him there, but just too much time to throw there, Jason. And Dylan Dennison did a great job finding the open seam.
I can't imagine Calvin's going to blitz too much longer, because they're blitzing in every 3rd down situation, and they're not even getting close. They sent 2 linebackers again. The Albion offensive line doing a great job of picking it up. Calvin in a deep zone that time. Too easy for Luke Lovell, who's just too good, and you're going to have to start dropping 8 guys into coverage on these plays, because blitzing linebackers is not working.
Nichols in motion, empty backfield on 1st and 10. Lovell looks right now, throws end zone. He's got an open man. Touchdown in the right corner. It was Cameron Moore, who had snuck behind Funk and Kolanowski.
Yeah, an excellent
Great
concept.
throw by Luke Lovell.
Yeah, and an excellent concept from Albion. They run Tayshawn Nichols in motion out of the backfield, and now you have to trust your eyes if you're Calvin. They love to run that motion with Nichols and then throw it deep, because you bring up the safeties. We've seen the aggressiveness of the Calvin safeties here. They were going to take away the short pass to Nichols, especially on 1st down, and you allow this receiver to get deep, and that's exactly what happened. Albion did this to perfection last week, scoring 49 against Olivet.
Grinwitzki on for the extra point, pounds it through, and with 13:34 to go in the second quarter, it is Albion 21, Calvin 7 on the Calvin Sports Network here on MichiganSportsRadio.com. AM Talk 1230
Today's
WTKG.
broadcast is sponsored by Capital and Risk Management Services. Since 1987, Capital and Risk Management Services has supported Knight Nation's financial and risk management needs with strategic solutions for a secure tomorrow. Reach out to Russ Fausing today at 312-458-4523.
Back here at Grand Rapids Christian. Albion has just struck again. Luke Lovell with his 3rd touchdown pass. He comes into this game having thrown for 24 TD strikes this year against just 6 interceptions. Jason, he's completing 74% of his passes on the season. And thus far, he is everything is advertised, 8 out of 9 for 153 yards in the first quarter plus.
Usually when your quarterback's completing 74% of his passes, you're not calling enough pass plays. I mean, if you're going to complete 3 out of 4, just throw it every down. And it's not as if he's throwing a bunch of screens and dump-offs to running backs. Albion throws the ball down the field. It's pretty incredible the rate at which Luke Lovell's throwing the football this season. It's not a bad competition either.
Gronowski squibs it down to Russell Ronan Dixon at the 15. Angles toward the left sideline and is wrapped up at the 27.
Well, the wind, as the teams switch ends between quarters, it didn't impact Lovell's ability to throw the football, but it does change the kicking game. We saw all of Albion's touchbacks, this time kicking into the wind. They squibbed it to Russell Dixon, but Calvin can't take that much of advantage. They still only start on their 27.
Today's second quarter is brought to you in part by Eastbrook Homes, crafting beautiful homes throughout West Michigan and Greater Lansing, and by Skipper and Ostrink Wealth Management, partnering with you to help unlock your financial potential and build your legacy. First and 10 from the 27 for Chase Bradman. 2 running backs in the backfield. It gives to Harden. Starts running right and then angles back to the left and is wrapped up at the 26 by Mills. Picked up actually barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Boy, every running play he has attempted, Jason, his first point of attack has usually been altered with a jump cut.
Yeah, these linebackers are too good. They were trying to run away from Mills that time, but he read it right away and ran him down.
Bradman swings it out on 2nd and 10 to Hogan along the left sideline. He's crunched by Taylor and Jace Joseph at the 31. Picked up 4, so that'll mark it at the 30. 3rd down and 7. 12:49. You start talking about big plays. Calvin cannot afford to have the football and not get points against this Albion offense too many times.
Well, that was a tough run. Only 4 yards for Hogan, but boy, it took 3 guys to get him to the ground.
Back to throw, gunning it over the middle, complete at the 36 to Ritzma. Good catch in front of Jackson Taylor. Just a yard shy, maybe 2 of the first down. And what do you do here on 4th down and 2 at the 35?
I think you have to go for it. I mean, at this point, it doesn't seem like you're going to stop Albion no matter where they start with the football. You're going to have to score on this drive for Calvin. Now they're going to punt.
Bradman drops back. Flag comes in. I think it's going to be illegal procedure, and I'm not sure that's going to matter that much because likely now Trent Fickle send on Logan Knapp.
Start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, you're definitely punting now. In fact, you can just send the unit on the field to kick it away as opposed to trying to be deceptive. But, boy, your defense has been on the field too much. You go 3 and out, and you're going to ask them to try to stop this high-powered Albion offense. This is a tough ask at this point, down 21-7 already.
That last scoring drive summary brought to you by Paris Motors. Covered 77 yards in 9 plays, just 441. Luke Lavelle with that 29-yard TD pass to Cameron Moore for the touchdown. Logan Knapp on to kick it away. Towering end-over-end kick. Fair caught at the 27 by Dorian Armstrong. It'll be 1st and 10 there for Albion at their own 27-yard line.
This is where we talk about big picture, right? As Calvin's a young program and they're trying to build for the future. Certainly they want to win today. They want to win games. But they're an up-tempo offense. They're trying to get a lot of plays off. It's tough. It's tough when you're not getting first downs, as Calvin's not. Your defense is out there a lot against a really good offense, but you're not going to go away from what you do. This is what you want to do. 90 to 95% of these guys are going to be back next year on this team, and you're trying to build and get to where you want to be. So Calvin's going to continue to do what they do here, and at this point, it's asking their defense to be on the field an awful lot.
Alex Minahan now in the game number 3 at safety. Level on 1st and 10, play action, guns it left side to Cameron Moore. He gets to the edge and runs out of bounds at the 39, a gain of 12. A little bit of, and a flag comes in back at the line of scrimmage from the linesman.
Yeah, they're going to get Devin Fridley-Bell for a hold on the outside there. So this is going to be another penalty on Albion, and the flags right now going Calvin's way. But unfortunately, they just haven't been able to take very much advantage of it.
Holding, offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat 1st down.
3rd penalty for 35 yards against Albion. Calvin's committed just that 1 false start here on the punt. So it moves it back to the 18, 1st and 20 from the 18-yard line. Got him behind the sticks now for Calvin. Now the question is, can that secondary stay with those receivers? 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Taylor Browning, the running back, he'll take the handoff and run straight up the gut. Has good yardage near the original first down marker. Vanderploeg slung him down there after a gain of 10. Boy, Paul Vanderploeg's been so good on run support. Last week, 16 tackles against Hope. But that's the good news. The bad news is, Jason, you don't want your safety making that many tackles in a football game.
Yeah, it's true. The safeties are really good in run support, and this is kind of what you get against Hope, because Hope just pounds the football better than any team almost in the country in D3. But today they're facing passing attack, and they need their safeties to play coverage as well.
Level on 2nd and 9 will roll out, find a man on a crossing route, complete at the 35. Cameron Moore in front of Noah Funk, short of the first down, bring up 3rd down and long 1. Now they'll mark it at the 34, so 3rd and 2.
What is Calvin? Albion's, I think, I don't know if they're 5 for 6 or 6 for 7. I think they've missed 1 3rd down all day, and that was one where they had the 4th down conversion. So here we go, another 3rd down, 3rd and short this time, and another opportunity for Calvin's defense.
They are 3 for 4 as they face this one, 3rd down and 2 from their own 34. Fake to Browning, gun it right side. Oh, hit behind the line and short of the first down.
Ike Nordhaus, really nice play coming up to trip him up, and it's 4th and 2. And this is almost the exact same scenario where Albion went for it on their own territory in a short yardage situation in the first quarter, and they converted. It led to a touchdown, and they're going to go for it again. And Calvin, if they can step up and make a play, they could get a ton of momentum here.
Dorian Armstrong caught that last pass, and as you said, great read by the secondary. Trevor Smith, who's already scored a touchdown today, number 0, the big tight end, checks in. Taylor Browning's the running back. Veza is on the 12 personnel, the second tight end in there. On 4th down and 1, they give us to Browning. I don't think he got it. He was swallowed up at the 35. First to meet him was Jaden Lewis. And for the first time today, Calvin's defense gets off the field, gives the offense the ball in plus territory.
Well, I was surprised Albion went for it in that situation in the first quarter. They converted. I was wrong. Still surprised they went for it, because now what you do is you open up a whole can of worms. You've given Calvin not only the ball in the plus 35, but some momentum here. I mean, you had your foot on the neck a little bit, and boy, you're giving Calvin a little bit of life here. Excellent play by that Knights defense.
9:21 to go in the second quarter, 1st and 10. Bradman will keep it after the fake to Harden. Wiggles his way around the right edge for 6.
Boy, nobody ever said Uncle Chase didn't have some shake, did he? That was an excellent play. First designed quarterback run for Calvin, and he made a move there on the right edge, got an extra 3 yards.
Ryan Dybus finally brought him down. 2nd down and 4 from the 29. Bradman back to throw, slings it left flat, complete to Ritzma, tackled immediately by Jackson Taylor, shy of the first down to the 27.
These Albion corners are really good. You know, they're going to give the cushion, but boy, when that short pass comes, they come up and make the tackle. No yards after catch, and Calvin now in a 3rd and short, and they've not been able to run between the tackles today.
Jair Harden, the running back to Bradman's right. Clock inside of 8:30. Ritzma split wide to the left. Hunter Hogan with a lot of room in the right slot. Let's see if they go to him. Bradman rolls to the right, guns it to the right sideline, complete to Mishmerheisen, falling down to make the grab at the 20 in front of Ryan Dybus. That's a 1st down.
Roll the pocket, right? Move it to the right. Love the play call. You run Hogan deep out of the slot. Mitch Merheisen just sits down in front of the defense. Move the sticks.
Calvin now 4 out of 7 on 3rd down conversions. On 1st and 10, Ritzma, the receiver, catching the ball outside the numbers on the left side. Upended immediately by Dybus and Taylor. Got maybe a yard.
Yeah, it's essentially a run play, right? Quick pass, line of scrimmage. Excellent. Those Albion corners are excellent tacklers. That's why they can continue to play that cushion and come up and make plays. It's been effective.
2nd and 9. They give us to Harden. He has room off the right side, an alleyway up the middle of the field to about the 12-yard line near the first down marker. Dybus cut him down there. He'll be shy of the first down. He's at the 13. Needs to get to just inside the 11.
This is a fascinating play call, because in my opinion, you're going for it on 4th down. You got 2 plays to get this 3 yards.
Bradman looks to Hogan, not open, so he tucks it and goes near the first down marker along the right side. I think he got it. Good read by that Albion secondary to see that tunnel screen coming to Hunter Hogan, and Chase made a wise decision not to throw it. Tucked it and picked up the first down.
No one's ever going to question the toughness of number 4. I'll tell you what, Uncle Chase just went right at that D lineman, and he moved the sticks. Excellent play by Chase Bradman.
1st and goal to go from the 10-yard line for Calvin. The give is to Harden as a crease behind the right side of the offensive line. Picked up about 3. Down to the 7. Jaith Joseph and Connor Dewan tracked him down there. Gain of, call it 2, 2nd and 8.
This is the area where I'd like to see him target Mitch Merheisen. 6'7", he's one-on-one with the corner there on the right side. Let's take a shot at number 18 here. It's tougher to move the ball in here because there's less field to defend for the Britons defense.
Instead, they give it to Harden, trying to sweep around the right side, gets to the sideline, flag comes in. This could be a holding.
Yeah, you can see Chase is, I think Chase is signaling this is going to go against us.
Mitch Merheisen's got about 9 inches on Miguel Ocampo, the right corner. Officials conferring a key call here. We await from Jason Nickel. And a hush falls over this
There is no foul
big crowd. How about that? No foul, no flag.
Third down.
So 3rd down now at the 5-yard line. Clearly 4-down territory.
Clearly. I mean, you're in field goal range, but down 21-7, and the way Albion's moved the football, I think you're not walking away here without getting 7 if you want to be in this football game.
They'll mark it at the 3 after that run by Jair Harden. Hogan slot right. Mitch Merheisen wide to the right. Ritzma wide to the left.
I'd watch quarterback run here. I think this might be a chase play.
Hunter in motion right to left. Empty backfield, looks to throw. He's got Harden wide open in the right flat. Touchdown, Calvin Knights. Chase Bradman slipped Harden out of the backfield in the right flat. Nobody went with him, and Bradman found him for the easy 6.
Well, you got 6'7" Luke Mitch Merheisen over there. You got Hunter Hogan, the best player wearing a Calvin uniform. Those guys both run to the middle of the field and take all of the defenders with them, and Harden's just all alone for the easy touchdown. Big time answer from the Knights there.
Sal Ruffino on to attempt the extra point with 6:07 to go here in the first quarter. Good drive after that big 4th down stop by Calvin's defense. Bradman to hold off the Rowan Stewart snap. Ruffino hammers it through, and with 6:07 to go, Calvin's back in it. 21-14, Albion on top. Good time to tell you about so many people who have made this first year of Calvin football a great success. And one of those groups of people are our many corporate sponsors. Levi Suter's down with one of them. Jim Skipper from Skipper and Osterink. Levi?
Thanks, Bob. Jim, as we come down to the home stretch of this first season for Calvin football, what is it like to be a company partner with the Calvin Athletics?
We're very excited at Skipper and Osterink. We want to make sure that all families that work for us meet their financial goals and their dreams. So we're here to make their wins our wins.
Sweet. Back to you, Bob.
All right, thanks to Jim Skipper and Steve Osterink and many, many wonderful sponsors for this inaugural season of Calvin Knights football. On to kick it away now is Evan Raymond. He will kick deep to Dorian Armstrong and Devin Fridley Bell. They're back at the goal line. Big strong breeze behind Evan Raymond.
I'll give a lot of credit to that Calvin defense. To set up that short field that time, and the Knights take advantage.
Fridley Bell, the Grand Rapids native, will run that kickoff back. The big fella lumbers his way up over the 20 to about the 22.
Dylan DeHoop.
Dylan DeHoop, Eli DeYoung, Dylan DeHoop on that stop. And it's 1st and 10 from the 26-yard line. Devin Fridley Bell from Caledonia, played his high school ball at Grand Rapids Catholic Central.
Won a state championship playing for Todd Colster, outstanding wide receiver.
Fascinating to see. Again, we talked about at the outset, just this is a roster, their starting lineup on both sides of the ball, all 22 from Michigan. And a host of West Michigan players as well. Be interesting to see how that recruiting changes now with Calvin in the mix here on the west side. On 1st and 10, Colby Taylor Browning takes the handoff, bounces it out to the left side, turns the corner, and powers his way over the 30 to the 31. Paul Vanderplug, another tackle.
That's a fascinating, storyline to watch now with this Calvin Knights football program. Grand Rapids already a difficult area for Albion to get into, and adding another quality program is only going to make that more difficult. But the Britons have certainly done well over the years. I mean, they've been one of the better programs in the MIAA.
On 2nd down and 8, Taylor Browning stacked up in the middle of that line by Carson Schnurstein for no gain. 3rd down and 2 at the 31.
Alma had struggled for years before their recent surge. Hope has made a surge now with Peter Sturzman. I mean, Albion had kind of been one of the steady programs here in this MIAA. Year in and year out, they're always right there.
Three-man front with three linebackers. Schnurstein and Nordhaus on the edge. Here they come. So Lovell finds that vacated area wide open, hits C.J. Weems over the middle. He carries a couple tacklers up to the 49. Noah Funk hanging on for dear life there, but another first down for Albion on that dart thrown by Luke Lovell.
Yeah, inside of 5 minutes until the half. That's C.J. Weems' first catch of the game. Weems is a weapon for him. I know he's not listed as a starter, but they play him a lot. Had a bunch of catches in the first half last week against Olivet, and he's part of that Godwin Heights pipeline to Albion. There's several Godwin Heights players on this roster. I know my guy Brandon Kimball, the head coach of the Wolverines, has got to be here somewhere watching his guys ball out.
4.5 to go on first down. Lovell with the play action. Nobody open, and he's going to run around the left side and then just slide down right at the line of scrimmage. Good coverage downfield that time. You know, Luke Lovell came into this game, Jason, completing 74% of his passes. We thought that was impressive. He's 12 of 13 today.
Yeah,
74%. 180 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's nothing compared to today, but how about Alex Minahan that time, as well as Brady Jacobs? The corners had excellent coverage downfield, and that allowed Lovell to have to just eat it.
2nd and 11 from their own 48 for Albion. Like Nordhaus on that left edge, sneaking up, showing blitz. Play action, Lovell guns it right side, outside the numbers to Dylan Dennison. Trevor Martin slid over to make the tackle at the 44, so 3rd down and 3, and probably 4-down territory here with 3.5 to go for Albion.
Albion's not shown any tendency towards punting today. Every time they've been 4th down, they've gone for it. Now on the plus side of the field, I think you're right. Calvin's going to have to make 2 plays here to try to get the ball back to their offense.
And wide receiver rotation continues with Cameron Moore in on the right side along with Aiden Adams.
And it's an empty set. We know Lovell's not going to run the football here, so you can pin your ears if you're Calvin and try to get some pressure, which they've not done at all today.
Night show blitz. Now they back off. Back to throw is Lovell. He's going to be trapped back at the 48 by Schnurstein and then dumped by Martins at the 47. A big quarterback sack for that Calvin defense on 3rd and 3.
It's incredible how effective that is, where you stand everybody up, and then the offensive line has no idea who's coming, right? Because you've got 6 or 7 guys standing at the line of scrimmage. 4 or 5 are going to come. 2 or 3 are going to drop in coverage. Nobody picked up Schnurstein. Unblocked to Lovell, and a huge play for Calvin. And for the first time today, we see Albion's all-conference punter on the field.
Chris Bowman, the sophomore from Waterford, averaging 39 yards a kick, will boot it away. Uh-oh. They almost ran into him. There is no call, though, as the kick flutters out of bounds, sort of shanked off to the right. And good acting job by Chris Bowman. Unfortunately for Calvin, the official was not buying it.
Well, you don't get to be first team all-conference without a little bit of acting there. And Bowman, I'll tell you what, Albion had 6 guys make all MIAA last year. 5 of them were seniors. Bowman was the only one that came back. Boy, all the momentum right now in maroon and gold, right? I mean, you've got the football, wind at your back, 2:21. If you could find a way to get points out of this drive, Calvin could take a ton of momentum into the half.
They have all 3 timeouts left, plus they'll get the 2-minute timeout here coming up shortly. 1st and 10 from their own 39. Chase Bradman, quick out in the right flat to Hunter Hogan. Gets around the corner, pushing him out of bounds.
Devon Pearson was unblocked out there, but this is what you got to have, right? You got to have your guy one-on-one in the open field, and Hogan made him miss. It's a modest gain. They say he actually went out of bounds at the 42, so it's only a gain of 3.
Chase Bradman will let the clock run down, and we hit the 2-minute warning. And we'll step aside. 21-14, Albion on top. 2 minutes to go here in the first half on the Calvin Sports Network. Hey, a college education that prepares you not only for your first job, but to thrive throughout your entire life is of great value. And Calvin offers that to students and has come up with a number of ways to help all families make college more affordable. 100% of incoming Calvin students receive financial aid. Discover the many scholarships and grants you have access to at calvin.edu. Just search financial aid. Bob Sack back here with Jason Hutton. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Knights looking for the equalizing score. They have it 2nd down and 7. At their own 43. Chase Bradman with Jake Neuenhaus now in the lineup. Bradman will roll to his left, finds an open Seth Anderson along the left sideline in front of Ryan Dybus, and scoots his way down the boundary for a first down to the 46, and the clock stops with 1:55 to go.
Yeah, well, really nice job that time by Calvin. I talked about Davis's versatility, but that time they used it to his advantage. He's a little bit bigger, and you kind of put him out there on the island. A nice job. Anderson continues to have a really good game for Calvin.
That's something that Trent Figg told us would be the case. Bradman goes back the other way on 1st and 10.
Campo almost got there. That was a dangerous pass because, boy, a second slower, and that's a pick 6. Nice job by Mitch Bryson coming back and getting the football. You don't always see that out of a young player.
Gain 6, 2nd and 4 from the 41. Bradman rolls to his left. Now he's going to tuck it and go. Avoids a tackler at the 40, but cannot avoid another one at the 39.
Yeah, if
Joe
you're Calvin,
Zarnicki
you're fine.
there to upend him.
You're
3rd
fine.
down and 3.
Still have all 3 of your timeouts. Still have 80 seconds. You're on the plus 39. In excellent position here.
Frankly, you don't want to be too much of in a hurry to score because Luke Lovell is pretty good on the offensive end. On 3rd down, Seth Anderson's got a first down at the 30-yard line. Bradman delivers a rifle shot to Anderson along the sideline. Trent Figg said to us earlier this week Seth Anderson was going to have a key role, and boy, has he ever here in this football game. 5 catches already for the freshman from Rockford.
Yeah, I've only seen half the games, Bob, but this has got to be Seth Anderson's best game. I mean, just keep giving it to number 8 because he is doing it this afternoon for the Knights.
Bradman on 1st and 10 from his 30, rolls to his right, throws across his body to Hogan. He's got it at the numbers at the 18-yard line, stuck there by Ocampo. He's got another first down with 63 seconds to go.
I love the toughness of all these guys. Hogan's playing through an injury. He took a shot, held onto the football there in the red zone.
1st and 10 from the 18. Bradman to throw again, and he's got Anderson along the left sideline in front of Taylor. He tiptoes along the sideline, got a foot down, and it's another nice throw and catch to Seth Anderson. The gain of 5 to the 14-yard line.
All right, here we go. We're in the red zone. You expect that the cushion on the outside from these Albion corners is going to get smaller. So Calvin's going to have to make a play here. This is a huge opportunity. Still, all your timeouts and inside of a minute to go in the half.
56 seconds to go. Bradman fakes on the running play to Neuenhaus. Now flips it out in the right flat to Baalsma. Picked up 5. That's a first down at the 8-yard line. 49 seconds to go. Knocking him down there was Joe Zarnicki, and I think Calvin's going to use their first timeout here with 49 minutes.
Result of the play is a first down. Timeout, Calvin.
Calvin does take a... This month in Calvin Athletics history presented by Applied Innovation highlights the 2010 Calvin women's volleyball team that captured a share of the MIAA regular season title and later captured its first ever national title. The 2010 Calvin women's volleyball team was led by head coach Amber Warners. They finished 32-4, concluding its season with a 4-set victory over Emory University in the national championship final. That's this month in Calvin Athletics history presented by Applied Innovation, connecting Calvin alums for 35 years.
I'm really impressed, Bob, with Ben Dixon and his play calling here in this game. I mean, he's doing a nice job of mixing it up. They have not run the ball effectively, but they haven't completely abandoned it. You're keeping the defense honest. You're working in your quick passing games, your deceptive plays where you're sneaking a running back out of the backfield, bringing tight ends across. I think it's just been a masterclass of play calling from Ben Dixon here in this first half.
The red zone offense now being tested for Calvin here. 1st and goal from the 8-yard line. Adjustment here on this last drive, Jason, has been Jake Neuenhaus inserted in the game as a running back, probably for his blocking role more than anything. He'll stay in the block. Bradman to throw, lobs it left corner of the end zone. Hogan's wide open, but he got turned around and couldn't see the ball floating his way along the left pylon in the end line. Falls incomplete.
I agree. Neuenhaus has not gotten a carry, but his ability to block is huge, and you've got to protect when you know you're going to pass. Just a little bit off on that connection. Hogan having trouble finding it.
Albion gets the second half kickoff, so it's critical that Calvin can punch it in here. 2nd down and 8. Bradman takes the snap, rolls to his left, has time, stops, throws, end zone to Hogan. Incomplete right at the goal line. Diving attempt on that reception by Hunter, just could not corral it with one hand. 38 seconds to go.
Yeah, again, rolling out to the left, moving the pocket, trying to keep Bradman and give him some time. Great effort from Hogan. And I'll tell you what, I really think, I know you want a touchdown here, you want to go into the half in a tie game. Calvin's going to have to get points here. I think they can kick a field goal if you believe in Ruffino, and even 21-17, kicking off to start the second half. I think you'd feel pretty good about yourselves if you're Calvin.
From the 8, 3rd and goal for Chase Bradman at the right hash. Straight back to throw, has time, right end zone, touchdown, Calvinites! Luke Mishmerheisen just inside the pylon, and it's 21-20. He beat Joe Zarnicki on that quick out route. Bradman delivered a strike right to him at the pylon, and Calvin is an extra point away from tying it up.
Well, when you're 6'7" and you're a DB going against it, you are terrified of the fade, right? Well, a great way to beat a corner who thinks he's going to throw the fade, hit him on the out. Great throw from Bradman. Excellent play from Mitch Merheisen. And how about this, Bob? Calvin's got a chance to go in the locker room, tied with the third-place team in the league.
Ruffino on to attempt the extra point. Bangs it through, and with 34 seconds to go, it's a fired-up band of Calvin Knights. They have come back from this 21-7 deficit, and they've done it, Jay, with great offensive drives, but they also came up with 2 critical stops that got the offense the football back after it appeared Albion was going to score at will all afternoon.
I agree. At 21-7, my thought was, and I almost said it, can Calvin get a stop? Can they get one stop? One stop a half? Well, they've got consecutive stops, and that's pulled this team back to within 21. And you know what else has happened? The defense has hardly been on the field the last 10 minutes of this game. So they get a little bit of rest now. All the momentum for the Knights. Let's see. Luke Lovell's still got 34 seconds.
That's for sure. Both quarterbacks just operating at a very efficient level today. Both have thrown for 3 touchdowns in this football game. How about Bradman's stats? He's thrown 29 times in the first half. You and I did the game at Kalamazoo. He threw 54 times. He may eclipse that today. 24 out of 29 for 171 yards and 3 touchdowns for the grad transfer from South Christian. End over end kick taken by Devin Fridley at the goal line. He's going to come out with it. Busts through a tackle at the 15 and then is chopped down right at the 21 with 30 seconds to go. Caden Bolduck, who's been good on special teams all season long, tripped him up there. So now it's critical for this defense. Albion has all 3 timeouts left.
It might sound crazy with just 30 seconds to go, but I know you remember, Bob, last week against Hope, the Flying Dutchman drove down and scored a touchdown in the final minute of the half to make it 35-0 at the break, and I thought that was a key moment of that game. Calvin has got to play these last 30 seconds here and get to the half.
Alex Minahan and Gage Jones, tandem safety, standing back at their 40 as Calvin obviously is going to play prevent defense here on 1st and 10 from the 21. Luke Lovell out of the gun, straight back to throw, has time, floats it down the right sideline. He's got C.J. Weems at the 48. Boy, he slid in between Dylan DeHoop and Gage Jones. Perfect throw with 23 seconds to go.
And that's 6 seconds and 29 yards. So that's huge right there. Albion already in Hail Mary territory, and they've got at least 3 plays left in this half with 2 timeouts.
4-man, 3-man rush. 4-man front here. Back to throw is Lovell again. Dances around in the pocket. Now it's flushed out to the right. Guns it over the middle. Complete to Aiden Adams at the 25. He had so much time, and Kolanowski there to drop him, but that stops the clock with 13 seconds to go, and Albion will take a timeout, and all of a sudden, just like that, they are in scoring position. They get the second half kickoff as well.
See, this is an area that Calvin has got to improve on. They struggled with it last week against Hope, and now 2 plays, and they've gained over 50 yards. They're already in field goal range. Boy, this is a killer if you're Calvin.
Stay tuned for today's halftime show presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union. We'll have a quick word with Trent Figg. Levi Suter down in the field. We'll grab the head coach for his comments on the first half. The first half stats, first half analysis, and a special look at Calvin's MIAA champion women's soccer team. They'll compete for an NCAA battle tonight at Calvin after beating Greenville yesterday 4-0. We'll preview or tell you more about that women's soccer team and also preview Calvin's upcoming men's basketball season. That's all ahead on today's halftime show presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union, where members really like earning more when they save and paying less when they borrow. 13 seconds to go. 21-21 is the score. Albion's knocking at the door, though, after Calvin has scored 2 unanswered touchdowns. Taylor Browning, the running back, to Lovell's left. Two receivers right. Adams wide to the left. Back to throw is Lovell. Swings it out to Cameron Moore. Tries to juke a defender, but Caden Kolanowski stood his ground and dropped him right there for no gain at the 23. Big play by Caden.
Yeah, great play by Kolanowski. I'm shocked at that call. I mean, if you're Albion, take a shot. You know, I mean, you want to try to, you're going to get a field goal here. They're going to try a field goal.
Testing.
Which this is going to be like a 40-yarder, so it's certainly no gimme, especially into the wind. But I was really surprised they called a bubble there. I thought they'd take a shot. They had Aiden Mills one-on-one down here on the right side of the screen at the Calvin boundary, and an excellent play by this Calvin defense. And now they have a chance to get out of here, maybe without giving up any points, but at the most probably 3.
Gawinski is the kicker. He's only attempted 6 field goals this season. His longest is just 33, the junior from Niles, not heavily used. He will come on to boot a field goal attempt from 40 yards out of the hold from Chris Bowman, the punter. 5 seconds to go here in the first half as Albion looks to regain the lead. They have never trailed. Out of the Bowman hold. Snap is good. Gawinski drives it. A flag comes in. Did they, the kick was pulled to the left.
It was no good, but I think this is going to be illegal participation on Calvin. There was some confusion as to personnel, and I think Albion's going to get another shot at this.
Illegal substitution
You got it.
on the defense. 12 men in formation at the snap. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to seconds.
From this
5 seconds.
From this vantage point, Jason, I couldn't tell whether the ball went through the uprights. They really never signaled because the play was blown dead.
I think it was wide right. I do not think it was good. It was low. It was a line drive. But this is not the first time Calvin's had some issues with personnel, especially in special teams.
35-yard attempt now for Gawinski. He is a left-footed kicker, booting it from the left hash.
We'll see it 5 yards closer if it won't be as much of a low line drive. But if he kicks it that low again, Calvin's got to get their hands up.
His longest for the year is 33, so this would eclipse that. The spot is good. The kick is wide to the right. The Knights hold off, and we go to the break. It's 21-21. How about that? Calvin battling back to take this halftime lead. Let's head down to the field. Levi Suter is chasing down Trent Fig. He's got him. Levi, take it away.
Coach Fig, that was a great first half for the Knights. What did you like most about it?
Yeah, so the whole deal in this game has been third down, right? Third and fourth down. And so we came out, we started slow defensively on third down. We got a big fourth down stop, and that's what changed it for us. I love our guys' energy. We got to be physical. We got to focus the second half.
All right, Coach, what are you going to tell your guys in the locker room during this halftime break?
Yeah, it's the same message. It's all about us, right? So we have to have 100% elite focus. We got to be the most physical team on the field. We got to finish drives on offense, get off the field on defense.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Back to you, Bob.
Thanks, Levi. The Lake Michigan Credit Union halftime show is straight ahead. We'll have first half highlights and break down this football game and its 21-21 score. You are watching the Calvin Sports Network on Michigan Sports Radio. Talk 1230 WTKG. Back here at Grand Rapids Christian High School, Bob Sack with you at halftime. Calvin rallying from a 21-7 deficit to tie this football game late in the first half. It is 21-21 all as we welcome you inside the Lake Michigan Credit Union halftime show. The quick scoring summary for you. Albion struck first 5 minutes into the game. Aiden Adams with a 10-yard TD reception from Luke Lovell made it 7-0. Calvin responded with a good drive of their own. Seth Anderson caught a 13-yard TD toss from Chase Bradman. That made it 7-7, 6.5 to go in the first quarter. Albion wasted no time driving the length of the field in just 2 minutes. Trevor Smith's 30-yard reception from Luke Lovell made it 14-7. The Britons would expand their lead early in the first 90 seconds of the second quarter when Cameron Moore caught a pass from Lovell, ran 29 yards for the score. That made it 21-7. At that point, it looked pretty bleak for Calvin as they had struggled really to stop Albion at all on offense. That changed, though. Calvin moved down, had two stops in the second half, moved down the field. Jair Harden's 3-yard TD reception from Bradman made it 21-14 with 6 minutes to go and with 34 seconds to play in the first half. Luke Mishmerheisen was on the receiving end of an 8-yard TD strike from Bradman. That made it 21-21 with the first half still holding 29 seconds to play. Albion moved the length of the field but missed a field goal attempt. And that's how Calvin has tied this game 21-21 at the break. Quick look at the stats. First, very even first downs, 14-12 Calvin. Rushing yards, not much for either team. 31 for Calvin, 23 for Albion. Passing has been the story as we expected. Luke Lovell's thrown for 294 yards in the first half. Chase Bradman's thrown for 171. Lovell is, get this, 18 out of 21. Bradman's not bad either, 24 out of 29. And the total offense, 317 for Albion, 202 for Calvin. Third down conversions, 4 out of 7 for Calvin, 8 out of 11 for Calvin. They've done a great job here in this first half. All right, 21-21, the Lake Michigan Credit Union halftime show rolls on. Calvin's fall sports success has been highlighted this year by the women's soccer team winning the MIAA regular season, winning the conference tournament, and hosting NCAA playoffs this weekend, including a win yesterday 4-0 over Greenville. They'll play tonight at 5:30. Earlier this week, Calvin Sports Network's Matt Kaczynski sat down with a couple of key seniors from Coach Emily Ottenhoff's championship team. And as the soccer and football season wind down, of course, basketball season is just getting started. Calvin's men's basketball team, as is always the case, has high hopes for a superb season after last year's 25-5 record. Earlier, I sat down with Bill Saul to get the scoop on this year's team. Those two interviews are straight ahead on the halftime show presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union on the Calvin Sports Network. Don't go away. That's all ahead on AM Talk 1230, WTKG, and MichiganSportsRadio.com.
Applied Innovation is excited to celebrate more than 35 years of helping our customers grow. Starting as a printer, copier, and fax dealer, Applied has evolved into a complete office technology provider to include managed IT services and workflow automation.
We create an environment here at Applied that is such a wonderful one that when one of our employees gets in front of you, it just permeates from them how much they enjoy their work. And when somebody really enjoys their work, the service delivery that you get is going to be an amazing experience.
Big E's Sports Grill, your next destination for any occasion.
With incredible entertainment and amazing food that makes you want to come back for more.
Family memories are made.
Where sports are enjoyed and friends gather.
Cheers to good times, great friends, and a place where the game's always on. Only at Big E's.
Well, we're joined by Rory Pruce and Jess Inman, who are both grad students at Calvin and also members of the women's soccer team who just completed an undefeated league season. And what was exciting about that is you got to play this year in a new space. I mean, last year you were playing on the new turf, but what was it like being able to play your league schedule at home in that amazing facility? Rory?
Yeah, I think it was really cool having a bigger field. That was a big part of it for us. Having the big bleachers and everything was really amazing, and it honestly just gave us an opportunity to up our game because we had more space and really a home field advantage for us.
How about you, Jess?
Yeah, I would definitely agree on the home field advantage. Our field is beautiful and it's really large. And honestly, I feel like it's the best turf I've ever played on. And I think just having that environment behind us with like our fans, our parents, our loved ones, and like being able to just support us definitely made the season really amazing.
I went to a game this year and I was standing up top, and that sight line is just incredible. You can see the field, see everything kind of playing out. But there's some things that we can't see. And one of the things that we can't see is the locker rooms, and those are impressive spaces. What was your reaction when you first saw that, and what do you like most about that space? Right.
Yeah, it was really crazy walking in. We had a whole reveal, and it was just, we always talk about how it's the level of a professional locker room. No other college in D3 has a locker room like that. But I would say I love the hangout area that we have now. We are able to do film in there, and just like have a lot more space as a team to just bond and stuff. So.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. Like walking in there for the first time, I was just like eternally grateful for everyone who, you know, put the effort in to make that happen for us. And then like just being able to share that space with the team this year. You know, our old locker room was amazing, and you know, now we have this and it's right by the field. But I think my favorite part would probably be like the locker room part, since we have those two parts.
Yeah.
I really just like the way it's laid out. You can just see everyone, and we're able to do pre-game talks in there with the team, with the coaches, and just be able to see everyone and have that environment together.
That's awesome. This season was incredible. I think the last 11 regular season games, you guys went undefeated. There was one tie in there, but 10 wins. But one of those games was the rivalry game, right? At Hope. And a 2-0 win at Hope. It's always great to get a win over your rivals. Talk a little bit about what it's like playing in that game. I mean, there's a lot of us that watch that game, very few of us that have played in it. Give us a sense, how is that game different than any other game on the schedule?
Yeah, I think that I've grown up watching Calvin and Hope games, like in all different sports, like from when I was a little girl. And so it's just, playing in it is amazing. It's exciting. It's a whole new level. Everything is intense, and the competition is amazing, so.
Yeah, it's definitely just something that it's amazing to be able to experience it. You know, you play rival games, you hear about rival games, but being in one in college and against a team like that, it just brings out a whole nother level of talent and also competition in a game. So I think it's really great to be able to be a part of that.
That's awesome. Now you have a team full of undergraduate players, right? Studying different things in the undergraduate curriculum here at Calvin. But you two are grad students. Tell me a little bit about what it's like being able to get an advanced degree and play elite soccer at the same time. Jess?
So I think that being able to complete my master's program here is just such a great opportunity because I get to do it online. I train dogs, so I get to train dogs on the side, but I also get to compete at a high level, play soccer, and then also get an amazing degree. But I think the professors and the way that our program's laid out is really great just because it allows you to do so much, but also get a really high level education that we can use towards our future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have really appreciated the MAC program. I have really great professors. I have a full course load right now, which is a little bit much. Full 5 classes, 16 credits. But it really helped me make the decision into playing a 5th year. I have a whole year program, and then I'm going to be taking my CPA exam. So it was just a really easy transition for me from just going into the 5th year. Just feels like another year of college. So
that's awesome. Well, thanks for stopping by and talking with us today. Again, congratulations on a great regular season, and best of luck as you head into the postseason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome inside the halftime show this afternoon, presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union. Bob Sack here with the head basketball coach at Calvin University, the men's coach, Bill Saul. Great to have you with us here at halftime, Bill. And let's first get your reflections on your 6 years coaching here, many more years as a student athlete before that. What's it been like having football on campus in the fall of 24 as you get ready for a basketball season for the first time ever?
Yeah, it's been incredible. It was a little surreal, I have to say, the very first time seeing the Knights come out in the maroon and gold with helmets. It was really cool. But you know, we've had a number of tailgates at home games for our recruits. Our players are front and center in the student section. So I think just that enthusiasm on campus, something I think it's been awakening. I think the Calvin spirit has been through and through and everything.
Let's first, before we talk about this upcoming basketball season, reflect on last year. 25-5, 12-2 in the conference, an Elite 8 run in the NCAA tournament. You had a chance over the summer and early fall to reflect a little bit on last year. Your thoughts on the season that just was here in 2023-24?
You know, a tremendous season. I think the one thing that we had last year is just complete buy-in from top to bottom. At our basketball banquet, it was just funny. You know, we had a couple of guys that were seniors that didn't get to play that much, and they were so invested in what the program was and what they brought. And I think that was top to bottom, and that's why we had a lot of success. Certainly, you know, we had some really good players and some amazing games. Really proud of how we played down the stretch. The NCAA tournament, we played our best basketball, and that's what you want. But yeah, super proud of what we did and how we represented Calvin, and looking forward to this year.
People talk about last year, and unfortunately, the one thing they often want to talk about is what happened in the last game of the NCAA tournament, and that was an injury to really one of the key cogs of last year's success, Jalen Overway. Tough knee injury at the final game. Give us an update on him, both personally as well as just how your team has responded to his injury that really is going to sideline him, in all likelihood, for this season.
I mean, first off, for him, you know, that's a tough thing to go through for any athlete. And how he's handled it has been amazing. You know, he's at practice every day. He's really taken it on himself to really help with our bigs. And it's just been great to see his investment, even though he's not out there playing. We certainly miss him, right? You don't have a guy that's a first-team All-American that averaged 22 points and 12 rebounds and not have that in that presence. So, you know, it's an adjustment. We're a very different team this year. You know, we're trying to get to be more up-tempo. It's going to be more of a 5-out look, you know, and try to find some mismatches when we can. And we really have to step up our game defensively. You know, I just mentioned to someone, he was a huge cog in the wheel offensively, but, you know, that presence in the interior is such a big thing. So a lot of work to do, but super excited to get the task and get it rolling.
Let's talk about that rotation. Without Jalen and that double-double average, you change your offense a little bit, like you said. Who do you see as the starters this year and the key rotational guys as you prepare for this season?
You know, for us this year, it's certainly going to be by committee, way more. And, you know, we have some excellent players. You know, in the rotation, for sure, Uchenna Egekezi, who in his own right is a, you know, All-American. Looking for him to have a huge year, and I know he will. You know, Owen Vernado, another young man that played well for us last year. Trevin Winkle, you know, Luca Ressler. So all those guys have a lot of experience, and I think really will help us as we go through. Tripp Remerson's played exceptionally well. And then, you know, our bench is some new transfers, Parker Schwartz, Mr. Horkey, and then James Felton, and then a combination of a few freshmen that are coming on. So it's like, it's a mix of a lot of guys, and I think the big thing for us is how can we get that all to just kind of seamlessly work, and, you know, that's a work in progress.
You scheduled a gauntlet of a non-conference slate to begin this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy going week after week after week against some of the top teams in the country. Tell us about that preseason schedule, just how tough it is and why you did it.
Well, you know, it's on me. I wish I could blame. I wish I could blame somebody else on the scheduling, but that's 100% on me. And you know, it was built, quite frankly, because we have now kind of elevated ourselves into one of the premier teams. Certainly 2 years ago, we probably thought Jalen Overway was going to be with Uchenna in this situation. But man, if you can test yourself against the best, it really prepares you for what happens after. And I think that's what we're doing right now is saying, okay, hey, yes, I think out of the 11 games, we play 7 teams that are ranked preseason. So we will really see the best and see where we're at.
Next weekend, big event here on campus at Calvin, the Great Lakes Invitational. You played in it last year. We host it this year. How prestigious is it for Calvin to host these 8 teams, all of which are highly ranked?
It's amazing, right? So 7 of the 8 were preseason top 25. You're in a situation where, you know, they're coming from all over, right? That's what I think is so cool about this tournament. It's just not a Midwest tournament. We have teams from the East, we have teams from down South, coming here into Grand Rapids and, you know, having the ability to play in our arena, which I feel is the best arena in Division III, hands down. So, you know, we're looking to be great hosts. We're looking for amazing fan support. And again, getting that word out that this is really legit good basketball. And should be really an exciting event, and hopefully we can really get the fans out for it.
And then we look ahead to the 2025 calendar, and it's the MIAA season. Pretty familiar teams at the top of that list in terms of who's forecasted to contend for the championship. Early thoughts on the MIAA?
Well, the MIAA in basketball, men's basketball especially, has just grown here. You know, this year we had 3 teams ranked in the top 25, and you look at the first week of the schedule, and you know, all the teams participating in the men's basketball side did amazing. So it's going to be just a knockdown, drag-out fight every night. You got to be prepared, and I think that's the thing about this preseason is that we will be prepared to play what we have to do and how we have to be successful.
And I would think Bill, with Trine winning the national championship last year and being part of the MIAA, that's a good thing for recruiting. That's a good thing for you to be able to share with kids who want to come to Calvin and say, hey, we are playing truly at the highest level in D3.
Yeah, it's the highest level. I don't think you're going to find a league from top to bottom that's any tougher. And along with that, which is really exciting, is, attendance-wise, those games against Calvin, Hope, and Trine all were in the top 5 of attendance in Division III, so the fans are coming out and watching too. So it makes it for a really unique event.
Should be a great season. Can't wait for it at all. It's underway now and really takes another big step next weekend when the Great Lakes Invitational is hosted at Calvin University. 8 teams. Make sure to come on out and see that next Friday and Saturday, November 22nd and 23rd. Great to see you. Can't wait for the season and look forward to it. Thanks for joining us today. That's Bill Saul here at halftime at the Lake Michigan Credit Union halftime show. When we return, we'll get you ready for the second half. Albion Calvin coming up next on the Calvin Sports Network. Welcome back to Grand Rapids Christian High School in Southeast Grand Rapids. Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton here as we wrap up our Lake Michigan Credit Union halftime show, 21-21. Jason, your thoughts on who's got to do what in the second half?
Well, this drive's going to be huge, right? Because Albion, the way they've moved the football, 294 yards through the air in the first half, they're thinking, hey, we're going to take this kick, we're going to go down, and we're going to score, and we're going to continue to play in the lead. Calvin has made 3 straight stops defensively, which at 21-7 did not look like it was going to be possible. So if the Knights can get another stop here and then get a chance for them to play for the lead for the first time this year, I just think this first drive of this third quarter is going to be absolutely huge.
Evan Raymond has it teed up. He'll kick deep to Dorian Armstrong. Standing back at his 3, and he'll kick a high bouncing kick that is grabbed at the 25. I believe it was Trevor Smith, and he is crunched at the 28, 1st and 10 there. Hey, thanks for those good features at halftime from our Calvin soccer and Calvin men's basketball. Big weekend of all sports really going on at Calvin. That soccer game tonight is NCAA tournament game, starts at 5 o'clock against the University of Chicago. That will kick off at 5 o'clock at the soccer stadium. And then of course, women's volleyball matches up with Hope tonight with an MIAA conference tournament title on the line. So big weekend for Calvin sports. But right here, the story is the football team knotted at 21 as we start this third quarter. Luke Lovell on 1st and 10 gives it to Colby Taylor Browning, who slams into the right side of that Calvin defensive front. Ike Nordhaus stands him up there for no gain. 2nd down, and call it a gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Excellent job by that Calvin run defense. 23 yards rushing is all Albion got in the first half. I get it. They gave up almost 300 through the air, but you can continue to make Albion one-dimensional. You have a chance. Good start for the Knights.
On 2nd and 9, Lovell. Here comes the rush by Nordhaus. He guns it over the middle to a falling down C.J. Weems at the 34, a short gain. Alex Minahan right there, but the key on that one, Jay, was the way Nordhaus flew in from that linebacker split spot.
They did not have success with the blitz in the first half. This time they bring Nordhaus from the outside. They bring him back around, blitz through the middle instead of bringing the inside linebackers, and he got free. Excellent play, though, by Lovell. Still got it off and got it complete.
3rd and 6 from the 34. Lovell out of the gun, back to throw. Fires complete to Trevor Smith outside the numbers at the 48. The Albion 48 falls forward to the 49. Upended by Minahan. 1st down for Albion.
Yeah, they ran the same blitz with Nordhaus. This time it gets picked up, and it was another quick route. And again, Trevor Smith, who's made some big plays tonight. The Hopkins native, or the Hopkins grad, the Martin native, that was a big play for Albion.
1st and 10 from the 49. Vanderploeg with 9 tackles in that first half. Colby Taylor Browning runs to his left, now reverses his field and finds some room around the right edge and is sandwiched at the 44 by Minahan and Nordhaus, and Schneerstein picked up 8 on that run.
That was inside. They were set up to go inside. A nice job by Brown to bounce it out and pick up 8 on 1st down. That's huge for Albion, who has not run the ball well all night, especially on 1st down.
40 yards on 10 carries now for Colby Taylor Browning. He's got it again. This time behind the left guard, breaks a tackle of Vanderploeg at the 40 and then lunges his way down to the 36 where Martins finally spilled him there. 1st and 10 after 2 Colby Taylor Browning runs move the ball to the 36 of Calvin.
Well, you can see the message from Coach Rundle and this Albion coaching staff. They need to run the football. 23 yards in the first half wasn't good enough, and they've come out and they've started to get behind the offensive line, run between the tackles. Consecutive good runs that time from Colby Browning.
They're 6th in the conference in rushing, so that's not their forte. But they're trying to establish a ground game here. Level will throw on 1st and 10, sets up the screen to Smith. He's got blockers in front. He lumbers inside the 35 down to the 30. Schnurstein and Minahan holding on for dear life there to hold them to a 6-yard gain. Sets up 2nd down and 6.
And that's like a run. It's a screen pass to the tight end, and Calvin's blitzed a lot, way more than they're used to, and that's a good way to combat the blitz, is run a little slip screen. 6 yards on 1st down. That's staying ahead of the chains, and the Britons offense is back to doing what they were doing on those first 3 possessions.
From the Calvin 30, 3-man front with Nordhaus cheating up on the right side. The give is to the 2nd running back through. That is a new running back, Hamilton, now in the game. His first carry down to the 22-yard line, picked up 8 more.
Well, Calvin's defense stiffened on that last drive in the 2nd quarter when Albion got down here. They're going to have to find something because the Britons are moving the football and they're doing it on the ground. We know they can throw it with Level, but running the football is added a new dimension on this drive for the Britons.
1st and 10 from the 23. Out of the gun, play fake by Level. Now he'll swing it out to Hamilton on a screen, but that's diagnosed beautifully by that Calvin defense. KJ Harp, the nose tackle, read it well. Got help from Carson Schnurstein and dropped him for no gain.
I've been incredibly impressed all season long by Carson Schnurstein. On that play, he's being blocked and going to the ground and still made the tackle. Really nice play from the Portage Central alum. And now 2nd and 10.
Curtis Hamilton checks back out. The junior from Warren back in as Colby Taylor Browning, their lead running back. On 2nd and 10. Oh, here's a low snap. Level feels it, though. He's going to keep it and tuck it and go around the right end, but he is trapped in the backfield and finally run out of bounds at the 29-yard line. A loss of 8. Trevor Martins chased him down, and there's a break that that Calvin defense needs. A bad snap chased Luke Level back in a retreating mode to grab that football.
Well, it's fascinating. That must have been a run. It certainly was a power formation with 2 tight ends on the left side. And Lovell picked it up, and he never even looked downfield. He was just going to run it, and that's certainly not his forte. Big break for the Knights, and now 3rd and long. Calvin defense got to make a play.
3rd and 17 from the 29-yard line. Moore in motion, right to left. 3 receivers now on the left side. Moore, Dennison, and Adams back to throw his Lovell. Steps up in the pocket, guns towards the end zone. It is incomplete, batted away, broken up by Alex Minahan. He had help there from Paul Vanderploeg. I think Jason, who just leapt in front of it and maybe disoriented the receiver a bit, and that allowed Minahan to come over and make the hit, and the ball fell incomplete along the right sideline.
No question. I thought Noah Funk was actually going to get a piece of it on that one, but at the very least, he got in the way and made it a more difficult play for Weems, and I can't believe they're going to try a 46-yard field goal. I thought for sure Albion would go for it here, but they're going to at least line up for a field goal.
Logan Grawinski missed earlier at the end of the first half. He'll try from 46 at the right hash. Kick is on its way, and he hit the upright. He doinked it off the right upright. No good, and the Knights dodge a bullet there. But more importantly, the defense holds.
Well, we talked about inches in the first half on that huge 3rd and long play that Albion converted, that Dylan DeHoop was just inches from breaking up, and it led to a touchdown. There, you're inches away from 3 points. That was an excellent kick. I was shocked they tried it, but just about good. Calvin gets a break, and now they have the football with a chance to go in front for the first time today.
First and 10 from the 29-yard line. Bradman turns, hands to Harden. He'll bounce it out to the right side. Can't get to the edge. He's strung out there at the 30. Devon Pearson finally spilled him right there at the line of scrimmage. No gain for Jair Harden. Today's third quarter is brought to you by Skipper & Ostrink Wealth Management, providing personal financial strategies tailored to your goals and lifestyle. 2nd down and 9 at the 31. Bradman fakes to Harden. Now he'll run an RPO to his left. He keeps it, tucks it under, and runs towards the 40 yard line, dropped at the 39 by Adam Mills. Good decision there on the RPO by Chase Bradman. He picked up 9 and a first down at the 39. They go up tempo now on 1st and 10.
Really nice block by Carter Bilesma to spring Bradman on that play.
Bradman play action to Harden. He's going to keep it again. Weaves his way through the line of scrimmage and is dropped for a 2-yard gain by Jackson Taylor. Gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and a long 7 for Chase Bradman at his own 42 with 8:30 to go. Out of the gun, he'll roll to his right, has time, steps up. Now he's going to take off again and is crunched from behind by Jaith Joseph, who was coming off that right edge and then just got a beat on Bradman as Bradman turned it upfield and was leveled there at the 45-yard line. 3rd down and 4.
Boy, ball security is going to be huge in this second half, and that was a play sometimes you see a fumble because Bradman didn't see Joseph coming from the back, so good job by Chase, Uncle Chase, to hold on to the football there.
Empty backfield, and Harden shifts back to the running back spot. Over the middle, complete to Luke Mishmerheisen on a 3rd down. He's got it at the 50, right at the marker, and that'll move the chains. Little just sat up in that zone on a quick curl route in front of Miguel Ocampo and picked up the 1st down.
Excellent job using Mitch Merheisen there. Nice job by Chase Bradman to not rush things in the pocket and make the 1st down.
On 1st and 10, he'll swing it left side to Hogan. They hem him in there along the left sideline. Jackson Taylor and Ryan Dybus over to string that play out. No gain for Hunter Hogan. He led the team in receiving in that first half. Did Hogan. That's his first catch of the second half. He now has 8 receptions for the game.
Start to see those receiver numbers go up when you're throwing it 30 times a half.
Bradman rolls to his right, sprinting, stops, throws downfield. He's got Hogan behind the defense and is incomplete. Underthrew him a little bit, and Miguel Ocampo was able to just get a hand on it along the right sideline at the 15-yard line.
Really surprised on that one because Ocampo did not look back for the ball. Hogan was going to make the play, and Ocampo grabbed him right there before the ball got there, but no flag. So Ocampo gets away with one, and now Calvin's got 3rd and 10.
Ball at midfield, 7 minutes to go. Mishmerheisen on this 3rd and 10, wide to the right side. Hogan and Bilesma in the slot. Now Bilesma motions to the H-back position. Ritzma wide to the left. Out of the gun, straight back to throws. Bradman has time, throws it, it's picked off. Picked off at the 43-yard line by Miguel Ocampo. He stepped in front of Luke Mishmerheisen, bobbled the ball and was able to grab it at the 43. And Calvin turns it over. Jay, that's okay. I mean, you'd like to see that interception a little further down the field, but that was a really good defensive play by Ocampo. Stepped right in front of the receiver.
Excellent play by Ocampo. And I'll tell you what, it makes about a 20-yard difference. It is probably going to punt anyways because that was 3rd and long. Not a huge problem, but you asked me before we came back out of the second half, what do you do if you're Albion? Do you continue to let that go underneath? I said, yes, you don't change your game plan, but they have. They've come up on those short passes, and Ocampo made a great play on that one.
1st and 10 for Luke Level at the 43. Play action deep down the right sideline. He's got Adams, but he threw it behind him on his back shoulder. Adams was running down the right sideline. Coverage out there by Dylan DeHoop, incomplete.
I guess Lovell was due. I mean, that's kind of the first ball he's missed today, and that pass was clearly behind his receiver, and we just haven't seen that from Lovell today. He's been on target with everything, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
6:55 to go. Both teams have had a possession here in the 3rd quarter. Albion missed a field goal. Calvin turned it over on an interception. First turnover of the game. On 2nd and 10, Colby Taylor Browning plows up the middle on the delayed handoff over midfield to the 48. He got 8 there, so it's 3rd down and a very manageable 2 yards.
Albion doesn't pull much, right? A lot of their zone scheme is just, a lot of the running scheme is just zone. And that time, Will Smith, another Grand Rapids Catholic Central grad, the right guard, got a nice push, and they were able to run right behind him there for 7 on 1st down.
3rd down and 2 from the 48. Lovell with Taylor Browning to his right. 2 receivers out to the right. Gets the 4-man front. He swings it out in the right flat, complete to Browning. Makes a nice move on Jair Nolan, and then motors down the sideline to about the 34 before he's finally run out of bounds by Kolanowski.
Couple of nice moves from Colby Browning there. We've seen the Calvin safeties make play after play in this game, but that time Browning made 2 would-be tacklers miss and a big gain. And here we go again. Albion moving the football into Calvin territory. They've done it on each of their last 2 possessions, and they've come away with consecutive missed field goals. I'd be surprised if the Britons attempt a field goal on this possession.
1st and 10 from the 35. First catch out of the backfield today for Colby Taylor Browning. Trayshawn Nichols now in the game at running back. He takes that delayed handoff. Vanderploeg wrestles him down, but not before he's able to pick up 6. We've seen that play the last few series here where they've delayed that handoff to the running back. This time it is Tayshawn Nichols.
Well, you're getting 2nd and 10, right? And you're a passing team. I mean, I don't think you're going to argue too much that Albion's a passing team. You expect pass there. The defensive line gets upfield. You run the draw. Big gain that time for the Britons.
From the 29, 2nd down and 4 for Luke Lovell. Fakes the handoff on the RPO. Lofts it towards the end zone. He's got his man, Dorian Armstrong, for the touchdown. Pretty good coverage by Alex Minahan, but again, a beautiful throw in the left corner of the end zone from Lovell. And Armstrong skied for that football and hauled it in.
Well, there's no stalling out this time for Albion. I think Luke Lovell had enough of that. The missed field goals that time. He rides the running back, sees the man coverage on the outside, and just threw a strike to his guy for a score, and Albion's back in front.
Nowitzki out of the Bowman hold. With 4:57 to go, boots it through. And Albion's back on top, 28-21. We'll step aside on the Calvin Sports Network.
Today's broadcast is sponsored by Capital and Risk Management Services. Since 1987, Capital and Risk Management Services has supported Knight Nation's financial and risk management needs with strategic solutions for a secure tomorrow. Reach out to Russ Fausing today at 312-458-4523.
If you're coming to Grand Rapids for a Calvin home game or any other university event, your home for accommodation is the Hilton Garden Inn, less than 1 mile south of campus. And while you are there, be sure to catch all the games on the big screens at Big E's Sports Grill. That's the Hilton Garden Inn and Big E's Sports Grill. Big E is the sponsor of our post game, so stick around after the game for that. That Paris Motors scoring drive of 67 yards capped off with the 23-yard touchdown pass from Lovell to Armstrong. Find your next drive at Paris Motors, a fantastic selection of used cars to meet your specs and budget here in Grand Rapids. Grunwinski kicks it deep to Russell Ronan Dixon. He'll grab it at the 3, start up the left hash, and then is just swallowed up at the 14-yard line. Really hesitant on that kickoff return, Jason, and that's going to give Calvin some tough field position to start this drive.
Well, that's another area that the Knights as a young program need to continue to grow, right? I mean, special teams are really, really important, especially in close games like this. A lot of hidden yardage comes in special teams, and the Knights have not been great on special teams this year, not great today, but that's all part of the learning process, all part of the growing the program process, and now Chase Bradman and company will start from inside their own 15.
Down by 7, inside of 5 minutes to go. It's 21-21 at halftime. Calvin playing from behind again, but they have time on 1st and 10. Bradman gives it to Harden. He bolts away from one tackler, spins out of another, and behind the blocking of center Mike Liggett, finally dropped at the 18-yard line. A gain of hard-fought 4 yards. Adam Mills, second leading tackler for Albion, slid over to make that stop. 2nd down and 6 from the 19.
Good hard run that time from Harden. You know, we saw Albion make the adjustment to the Calvin short passing attack on that last drive. Well, let's see what Calvin can do now to counter that. Do they take a shot? Do you try to get Hellgren with his speed? Do you go to the big fella, Mitch Merheisen, with his height?
Instead, they give it to Russell Ronan Dixon off the left side, and the running back into the game for Harden, who I think cramped up after that last run. Rams his way for a couple out to the 21, called the 22. So 3rd down and 2 for Calvin with Harden out of the game.
Well, 3rd and 2, crucial spot. You just gave up a touchdown. You don't want to go 3 and out. You got to be thinking, if you're that Albion defense, one of those short, quick passes. Let's see if the secondary comes up to try to stop that.
Bradman takes the snap out of the gun, has time, scrambles out to his left. He's going to run to the sideline and get to the stakes for the 1st down. Chase Bradman with some alert ball carrying there, moves the first down markers with a 3-yard gain out to the 26-yard line.
Well, that time it was not. There was no design for a quick pass. Those were deeper routes, which maybe is an adjustment for Calvin. Albion covered it well, but Calvin protected. Excellent that time. Bradman nowhere to go. Made a smart play.
And Connor Davey lost contain, and that allowed Bradman to get to the outside. On 1st and 10, inside handoff to Ronan Dixon, and now Jair Herden checks back into the game. Dixon, the transfer from Hope by way of Catholic Central.
Yeah, a lot of Catholic Central flavor from in Grand Rapids on both teams in this game, but Calvin continues to get off schedule, not winning on first down. Let's see if they can convert here.
2nd down and 10. Bradman fakes to Harden. He'll roll to his right, looking downfield. He's going to loft it way down for Seth Anderson. It's underthrown, but Anderson comes back to make the catch at the 35. And still on his feet at the 31 before Joe Zarnicki finally wrestles him down. Great ball skills by Seth Anderson to retreat and hold up that route and make the catch. Look at on the replay. You can see the ball underthrown just a little bit for those of you watching. And it was a great play by Anderson to adjust on that ball, whereas the defensive back did not.
Yeah, 2 guys in coverage, double team that time, but Seth Anderson wanted it more. He just went up and got it, tremendous ball skills. And how about the ability to stay on his feet when he was wrapped up there and get a couple extra yards?
Quick tunnel screen on the right side to Mishmerheisen on 1st and 10 outside the numbers. Connor Davey over to make the stop. Picked up 3, 2nd down and 7 from the 28. Seth Anderson with a big game today. That is his 7th catch of the day. Season high for him. Bradman will run the RPO again. He's going to keep it himself around the left side. Gets a nice block from Hogan and then leans forward at the 20 near the first down marker. Run out of bounds by Devon Pearson. Great block from Hogan to spring his quarterback loose for an extra 3 or 4 yards. Just shy of the first down.
I've been really impressed all day long with the receiver's ability to block for Calvin, and that's part of what Coach Trent Figg talks about. I mean, this team has continued to improve this year, and these guys play for each other, and that was a great job by Hogan.
3rd and 1. Harden will try to run for the first down around the left side. Flag comes in. They're going to get Bryce Steinbacher for a hold here, and that's going to negate the first down as Harden was able to just dive for the marker, and Jair Harden, again, slow to get up.
Calvin's done a nice job today. They have not been penalized much, if at all, but this one's going to back him up, make him first down, or excuse me, I guess that was 3rd and short. They said Chase did not get the first down on that dive.
Offense, number 64, 10 yards from the previous spot, 3rd down.
See, I was under the impression Chase converted that first down, but of course it was on the far side of the field, and they ruled, obviously the officials are right on top of it, that he didn't get it. So now instead of 3rd and 1 or 2, it's going to be 3rd and 11.
Call it 12 from the 33. The holding penalty whistled on Hugo Vanderwall, the left tackle. He's at the left tackle spot. Bryce Perko, or rather Andrew Bergen at right tackle. Winton Napier, the right guard. Bryce Steinback at the left guard. Mike Liggett up over the ball. Big 3rd down and 12. Bradman back to throw. Here comes the rush. He gets rid of it. He throws it to the left sideline. Great defensive play intended for Paul Bama, the 4th. It was Jackson Taylor who deflected it away.
Yeah, nice job by Chase there. There was some pressure coming. He stayed in the pocket, made an accurate throw. Just a good play from the DB there as he was trying to hit his tall tight end, Paul Bama, in an obvious situation to go for it here if you're the Knights. Now they're going to punt. What do I know?
Chase Bradman has the option to, he's going to throw it to Hogan, and is broken up down at the 20-yard line. A little punt fake option there. Not a bad call really on 4th and 12. Good defensive play by Sarnicki to get a paw in front and knock it away. So it'll be a turnover on downs.
A lot of times that's an option. There's a flag on the field, but that's an option play. You know, you can punt it or you can throw it. To me, that was clearly a designed pass. They were never considering punting it. They wanted to show punt, but they were never going to, because he threw into coverage there. Why not? You give Hogan a chance, but a good defensive play by him.
Conduct, defense, number 6. 15 yards from the turnover spot. It'll be first down.
You hear the call on Devon Pearson for unsportsmanlike conduct after the flag. Let's go down to the field on this special senior day. Levi Suter is with the Vanderplugs, Doug and Brenda Vanderplug, the father and mother of Paul Vanderplug. Levi?
Thanks, Bob. I'm here with Doug and Brenda. Guys, it's been a great first year for the Knights and your son, Paul. What has this first season meant for him and you guys as well?
It's been a great experience. All the athletes, the coaches, every week's been a great week and a great experience. We're so proud of the whole program.
I'd say it was worth the wait. It was a long time coming, and we're excited to be part of a new community here. We're real excited that Calvin got Coach Fig and all the rest of the staff. It's a lot of really great young men behind us, and we're so proud of them.
Thank you guys, and congratulations once again. Back to you, Bob.
Thanks, Levi. Paul and Brenda Vanderploeg, some of the proud senior parents here on first down from their own 17. The give is to Browning. He gets around the left side with a lot of open green grass up towards the 40, over the 40, and finally run out of bounds by Caden Kolanowski at the 45. After that penalty moved the Britons back inside the 20. They busted loose here on the first down play with a big run from Colby Taylor Browning.
Yeah, you go back to that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. I think the Calvin crowd got a little excited thinking that might give the Knights a first down, but it was dead ball. It was after the incompletion. So Albion kept the football, backed them up 15, but they got all of that and more back on that Colby Browning run.
First and 10, level to throw, swings it out to Browning in the right flat. He's got blockers ahead, drives his way inside the Calvin territory down to the 37-yard line. Vanderploeg and Nordhaus knocked him down there, and that's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter as Colby Browning's factored heavily into this Albion offense here in the third quarter. We've played 3. We got a good one. Don't go away. It's Albion 28, Calvin 21. This is the Calvin Sports Network on Michigan Sports Radio and AM Talk 1230 WTKG.
This year has definitely changed my world. I'm making an impact here. It feels good to know every day that I'm growing in my abilities that I love, which is film, and I'm also growing as a believer in faith.
I'm really thankful that I was able to do work in my field during school, at school, and that has given me the confidence to move forward with doing my own independent work and getting to put my foot in that door before I even graduate. I don't think I would have found elsewhere.
Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton as we start this fourth quarter. Calvin knotted this game up at halftime, 21-21, but boy, Jason, Albion's done a great job defensively here in the third quarter. The other thing they've done, too, is they've established a bit of a ground game. Colby Taylor Browning has had a big second half running the football. He now has 82 yards on the ground, and they're throwing to him out of the flat as well.
Yeah, in the first half, it was all downfield passing and no running attack. The second half, they've run the football effectively and hit the flats with their running backs as well. Watch Tayshawn Nichols here on this play.
He's in for Browning on first and 10. He slips out to the right, level to throw. They'll try the wheel route down to him along the right sideline at the 5-yard line. Noah Funk was stride for stride, and Level just threw it away out of bounds.
Yeah, they love to run Nichols as a decoy. That time, that play was designed for him on the wheel. Nice job by Minahan, step for step.
Be second down and 10 from the 26-yard line. We get a chance, we'll give you scores from around the MIAA presented by NAI Wasinski of West Michigan, providing all the facets of commercial and real estate services. Trevor Smith, the big tight end, number 0, lined up as the blocking back. They'll throw to him, though, out of the backfield. He gets a great block from Veza, the other tight end, and then lumbers his way down the left sideline inside the 20 to the 17 before Kolanowski finally cut him down there. That was a well-designed play.
Yeah, I was thinking that was Trevor Smith territory, and that's exactly what they did. He was lined up as an H-back on the right side of the formation, and they just ran him underneath across the field, and they continue to take advantage of the flats here. Calvin's going to continue to play man-to-man. It's a long run for a linebacker or a safety, and they're just taking advantage of these little dump-offs because you know Level can stretch the field.
He's got Aiden Adams split wide to the right now. Instead, he'll give it to Tayshawn Nichols, that third running back in the game. He carries the pile inside the 15 down to the 11. Swallowed up by Isaiah Hill and a host of red shirts for Calvin. They're picking up 4, 5, 6 yards on every first down running play. It's 2nd and 4 at the 13 with 14 minutes to go.
Give credit to that Britain's offensive line. That time they run behind Jackson Buckler, the junior left tackle from out of Granville. Another solid gain on first down, and they've really run the football and made an effort to do so here in this second half after only 23 rushing yards in the first half.
Colby Taylor Browning back into the game at running back. 2 receivers out to the right. Nordhaus showing blitz on the left side. Play action pass. Guns it to Dylan Dennis on the right flat. Avoids Gage Jones and then just shoves away other tacklers as he walks into the end zone for the touchdown. Strong run by Dylan Dennison, and that is the 5th touchdown pass of the day by Luke Lovell. That one, though, was really done on the legs of the wide receiver. Great job by Dylan Dennison as he hauls in his 2nd TD pass of the afternoon.
Yeah, Lovell, he's going out in style, isn't he? His last game and 5 touchdown passes. He's been outstanding, 2nd in the MIAA in passing yards and passing touchdowns, only behind Carter St. John from Alma.
Rowicki boots the extra point through with 13:27 to go. It's Albion 35, Calvin 21 on the Calvin Sports Network on Michigan Sports Radio and AM 1230 WTKG.
Today's broadcast is sponsored by Capital and Risk Management Services. Since 1987, Capital and Risk Management Services has supported Knight Nation's financial and risk management needs with strategic solutions for a secure tomorrow. Reach out to Russ Fausing today at 312-458-4523.
Fans, today's Women's Sports Report for Calvin University is presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union. The Calvin women's soccer team is the story of women's sports in the fall under the direction of head coach Emily Ottenhoff. Currently ranked 16th in the country, they recently captured their 5th consecutive MIAA regular season crown, finishing unbeaten in league play. They continued on to win the MIAA tournament last weekend, and at 15-2-2 overall, they will host Chicago in the 2nd round of the NCAA regional tournament. That is today at Calvin Stadium on the campus of Calvin University. That's today's Calvin Women's Sports Report presented by Lake Michigan Credit Union, where our members really like earning more when they save and paying less when they borrow. Kickoff by Growinski is fielded along the left sideline by Russell Ronan Dixon. He'll motor right up that boundary and then get snowed under at the 21, 1st and 10 there for Calvin. Mentioned the scores from around the MIAA. Jason?
Just started the 4th quarter. Hope leading Olivet 48-6. Stursma and the Dutchman about to go to 10-0 for the first time in school history. At the end of the 3rd quarter, Alma over Adrian 31-7. And also at the end of the 3rd quarter, Trine putting it to Kalamazoo 41-14.
Those are scoring updates presented by NAI Wasinski of West Michigan, providing all facets of commercial real estate services in West Michigan. Key offensive series here for Chase Bradman. 13:20 to go. Calvin needs a score. They trail by 14 points on 1st and 10. Play action. Bradman over the middle. He's got Anderson again at the 36. High point of the ball between Jackson Taylor and Jaith Joseph. Great catch by Seth Anderson. Picked up 16 out to the 38. 1st and 10 for Calvin.
Love the Knights receivers. If there's anything positive I'm taking out of this season, it's going to be the guys on the outside. And Jude Klunder hasn't played much the last few weeks. He's been outstanding. Mitch Merheisen, Hogan, and Seth Anderson really coming out today and playing.
On 1st and 10, Harden tries to find an alley along the left side of that line. The hole closes quickly. Connor DeWan wrapped him up and dropped him for a loss of 1 on that play. 2nd and 11. Fake to him this time. Bradman swings it to Carter Bowles on that little tight end flat pass, but a wonderful play defensively by Ryan Dybus. Chops him down at the 38. Gain of a yard, 3rd down and 10.
It's almost like they've switched places. In the first half, Calvin was able to hit those short passes and make plays, and Albion wasn't. And now Albion's hitting the flats and the short passes, and Calvin's not been able to turn those into big plays.
Bradman sends 3 wideouts to the wide side, the left side. They're a triangular stack outside the hash marks. Back to throw is Bradman. Here comes the rush, and he is just snowed under back at the 32. A host of white shirts led by Orlando Daniels. He picks up his 4th sack of the year, and that's a quick 3 and out for Calvin's offense.
Yeah, well, that time Albion only brought 5, and they kept Bilesma in to block, and so that time that was just the Albion defensive line beating the Calvin offensive line, and Bradman didn't have a chance there.
Logan Knapp on to boot it away. Knapp, the freshman from Lawton, averaging 36 yards a punt this year. He'll kick it deep to Dorian Armstrong, standing back at his 20. That wind dying down a little bit for Knapp. Good snap. Boy, he kicks the ball high, doesn't he? It's not a long kick, very high, somewhat short. Hits at the 38, and it'll be down there immediately at the 40-yard line by Calvin with 11 to go. Hey, if you haven't stopped by Calvin's campus recently, you want to this fall. The new soccer stadium I just mentioned, track and field complex, and state-of-the-art building for football highlight the outdoor athletic improvements. In the academic side, a cadaver lab, virtual nursing, and new media production spaces complement the new beautiful Commons Union that provides incredible gathering spaces for students. Check out all the ways Calvin's building up the student experience on your next visit to campus at Calvin University. 1st and 10 for Luke Lovell at his own 41-yard line.
If the Knights have any chance in this game, they're going to have a stop here at the very least, but a turnover would be ideal.
On 1st down, they give us to Browning. He runs into traffic at the line of scrimmage, but then is able to spin out of it and drag the pile out over the 45 to the 47. Good hard run by Colby Taylor Browning. Not a big guy, Jason. He's only 5'9", 175 from West Bloomfield, but boy, his legs were churning there before Trevor Martins finally dropped him.
Nice job by Carter Schneerstein that time. Really took on the block and drove his man back into the play, but a nice job by Colby Browning to be able to push forward to get 5 on that play.
2nd and 5 from the 46. Lovell perhaps trying to chew some clock here with 10.5 to go in the 4th quarter. Out of the gun, straight back to throw. Guns it on a quick curl route complete to Aiden Adams. He has a 1st down, angling to the middle of the field. Calvin trying to rip the football loose at the 43. Can't do it, as Brady Jacobs and Trevor Martins converged on that tackle. 1st down for Albion at the 43.
Yeah, and despite being up 2 scores in the 4th quarter and running the football better in this second half, Albion's still going to go to their guy Lovell through the air, because when you complete 75% of your passes, it's still a good way to keep the clock running.
He's thrown for over 400 yards with that pass. On 1st and 10, Nevin Dent, another running back into the game. That's the 4th running back, and you kind of feel like this running attack is starting to wear Calvin down a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sort of felt like that a lot of the second half, because that last Albion touchdown, several missed tackles by the Calvin defense, and despite the fact the Knights are rotating guys quite liberally here in this game, just as they always do, it does appear like the defense, which has been on the field a lot today, is getting worn down a bit.
2nd and 4 from the 37. They give us the Dent again. This time, he is clogged up right at the line of scrimmage. Austin Fennick hit him first.
Yeah.
Stood him up and got some help. Still was able to just churn the legs and lunge forward down to the 34. So it's 3rd down and a yard to go for this 1st down with 9 minutes to play.
Yeah, nice play by Fennick. A lot of bright spots for this Calvin team on both sides of the football. Certainly things to build on here as they move through this first inaugural season and then into next year, which will be year number 2.
Calvin defense selling out for the run. And Trevor Smith is a running back, gets the handoff from that converted tight end spot and slashes off the left side for a 25-yard gain down to the 11 before Paul Vanderplug saved the touchdown.
Yeah, Trevor Smith was a high school quarterback. He's used to taking snaps. That obviously a Wildcat situation. The big fella's had a really good game today and adds to it there with the big run. Excellent creative design from Albion. Love their offensive scheme and the way they get guys involved, and that was a really nice play.
Travis Rundle, the head coach, was a quarterback of 3 MIAA championship teams for Albion. And got some offensive creativity, no doubt. Browning's got it on 1st and 10. Angles off the left side of that offensive line for 5 more.
And the clock just continues to move here. Albion running the footballs. They've continued to do much better in this second half, and chance to really put the game away here. Calvin, they want to have any chance, going to have to dig really deep here and find a way to make a play.
Good blocking from Mitch Abrams on that left side. Jackson Buckler, Granville native, holding up the left side of that offensive line on 2nd down and 6 from the 9-yard line with 7.5 to go. The give is to Nevin Dent. He drives his way over the right side, upended by Nordhaus at the 4. Short of the 1st down, 3rd and 2, we'll call it, just outside the 5.
Nice job by Nordhaus. Here we go, 3rd down and short. So if you're Albion, you've run it well. You can stay to the ground here. Maybe we'll see more of that creative offensive play calling with like a wildcat or something here. Obviously, they'll have 2 downs to maybe convert this. although a field goal would put them up 3 scores.
It really, really consumed the clock here in the second half of the ground game. Nevin Dent set to Lovell's left on 3rd and 2. They'll fake to Dent, back to throw as Lovell to the end zone he goes. Flag comes in as Dylan DeHoop was draped all over Trevor Smith. Never saw the ball. Smith was on the back end line, and DeHoop just face guarded him all the way, and easy pass interference call for the back judge. Here comes Jason
Pass
Nickel with the call.
Defense, number 2. Ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
Yeah, Lovell, that was kind of a one-receiver route. It was going to Smith all the way. So on 3rd down there, he tried to put it in a position where only his guy could make the play, and they get the penalty flag to get him a 1st down. So now 1st and goal, and Calvin really backed up here.
Jason, you watched a lot of high school football. With Trevor Smith is 6'5", 250. Was he that big in high school playing quarterback?
He wasn't 250, but he was big for a high school quarterback. I would say he was probably 6'4", 210-ish, 215. He was certainly a big quarterback and an effective one for the Vikings.
1st and goal to goal here with 6:45 to go. The ball at the 2. Nevin Dent, the running back. Ryan Veza, the H-back, will block for Dent as he slams his way over the left side. I don't think he got in. He is right at the 1-yard line, stood up the hoop with good run support to help that surge by Calvin's defense. They stand him up the 1.
Absolutely no quit in the Knights. They are playing hard every play. Nice job there by the defense. And Calvin's going to leave it all out on the field here. 6 minutes left in their inaugural season. They will not quit until there's all zeros on the clock.
2nd and goal now from the 2. Lovell out of the gun. He'll give it to Curtis Hamilton, who angles off the left side. He's not going to get in either. As that defense stands up the smaller running back, Nordhaus, and Fennick submarined him there, and a loss of half a yard back near the 2-yard line. So it's 3rd down and goal to go at the 2.
Tell you what, Ike Nordhaus, 5'10", 205, playing linebacker. He plays much bigger than that. I think he's played really, really well tonight. Excellent job penetrating there. Fennick as well.
Come on, so strong this season. 10 tackles last week at Hope, and doing it again here in his final football game. 3rd down and goal at the 2-yard line. Lovell with Taylor Browning back in the game. They give it to the number 1 running back. He's not going to get in as he has stood up inside the 1. Martins again. They got him low and they got him high, and I don't think he made it, Jason. With 5 minutes to go, it is 4th down, and the ball's about a foot from the goal line. Give Calvin a great amount of credit here on this goal line stand after the pass interference call.
Was down short of the line. 4th down.
That ball looks like it is about 3 inches from pay dirt.
I think this is going to be one of those wildcats, right? Snap it to Smith and let him use 250 pounds to get in, although he's lining up as an H. This is the situation you normally see like a quarterback sneak or something. Watch for Smith to go in motion and take the snap here.
He's lined up as the H-back. Lovell out of the shotgun, empty backfield otherwise. Now they go and Smith goes under center. He'll try to sneak it, and he's into the end zone with a second effort. Boy, they stood him up on the left side, and then he just kind of fell off behind the center, Benoit Richards, and dropped himself all 250 pounds into the end zone.
Well, you know who pushed him in, right?
Luke Lovell.
Yeah. That's exactly
66
right.
lost his helmet during the play for Albion. He will sit out 1 play. The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
A heck of an effort from that Knights defense, right? They made him go all the way to 4th down, and they had to use their big 250-pound tight end to sneak it in. Boy, Trevor Smith's had a heck of a football game today. Give that kid a ton of credit.
Gets to play his final football game and near his hometown. Bad snap as Bowman couldn't feel the low snap, and he is tackled back at the 25. So with 4:23 to go, score remains Albion 41, Calvin 21. Well, it has been a memorable first year of Calvin University football, and the guy who's really been at the helm of it all long before the season started is athletic director Jim Timmer, the outstanding director of athletics at Calvin. He's standing by with Levi Suter down on the field to give an offer of reflection of this first year. Levi?
Thanks, Bob. Dr. Timmer, we're here in the final few minutes of the last football game in the first season. What are our reflections for this year, the new football program? What are the reflections there?
Well, Levi, I was here 11 weeks ago, and I said it's a community endeavor, and 11 weeks now have passed, I said the same thing. I want to thank the fans, I want to thank you guys and the broadcast team, all the people that work, especially the coaching staff and the football team, for them to grind away like they've done all 11 weeks and even fighting here to the very end. Tells me a lot about the character of the young man of the football team and the staff. So I couldn't be prouder.
Thank you so much, Dr. Timmer. Back to you, Bob.
High kickoff, end over end, fielded by Russell Ronan Dixon at the 10. He is sandwiched at the 22. First to meet him was Alec Fowler, and it'll be first and 10 there with 4:18 to go. And perhaps, Jason Hutton, this is the last offensive possession of the season for Chase Bradman in this offense. And let's see if the grad transfer can air it out one more time to have one for the road here.
Yeah, and I agree with Dr. Timmer. I think the foundation is being laid here for this Calvin program. 7 seniors, playing their last game tonight. I mean, those guys are going to go down in history with this Calvin program. It's not easy starting up a program, but I think there's a ton to build off of for Calvin.
Bradman on first and 10, 2 receivers to each side. Fake the handoff. Here comes the rush, and Connor DeWan, who's been really a challenge handling him in the middle, is able to knife through and drop him for a 6-yard loss. Today's game, by the way, is brought to you by Eastbrook Homes, crafting beautiful homes throughout West Michigan and Greater Lansing. And by Skipper No Strength Wealth Management, retirement planning that seeks to deliver the retirement outcomes you want. Bradman on second down strikes a beautiful throw to the left sideline to Seth Ritzma at the 28, right in front of Jackson Taylor. Shy of the yard to gain, but a fine pickup there of 13 yards and gives Calvin a manageable 3rd down and 6 from the 28.
Certainly Ritzman's been an outstanding target for Chase Bradman this year, and he's a guy that'll look to continue to get the football to.
Bradman rolling to the right. Nobody open, nobody even close to being open, and he is just rocked there at the 28-yard line by Jaith Joseph. Bradman slow to get up on this big 4th and 4 here, but he's not coming out. Trent told us this week that kid does not come out of any football game if he can help it. He is a true warrior. He'll try to produce one more 4th down conversion here. Back to throw. Guns it behind Hunter Hogan, incomplete. 4th down, and Calvin will turn it over on downs. Good coverage by Adam Mills, who got in that passing lane with 2:53 to go. I love Trent's comment too, Ben Dixon, talking about that quarterback room. Ben Dixon's been in a lot of places coaching football, the offensive coordinator, and he made the comments it's the best quarterback room he's ever been in.
Yeah, obviously you got Uncle Chase leading the charge as a 5th-year senior. That's huge to have on this very young team. And you talk about Hayden Slegers, who certainly has a bright future. We did not see him tonight on offense. They've been running him as a slot receiver and can run some trick plays there. And certainly Drake Irwin. That's going to be a fun battle to watch this whole offseason between Irwin and Slegers to kind of see what direction Calvin's going to go next year at the quarterback position. But certainly Chase Bradman's done an excellent job leading that group this season.
Luke Lovell has seen his final play of the year as well, as he is replaced in the lineup by Xander DeSense at quarterback, the senior from South Lyon. Injured ball carrier for the Britons after that 3-yard gain.
It's going to be a new era for quarterbacks, the MIAA next year, right? We just talked about Calvin's going to have a new quarterback. Luke Lovell and Josh Nichols, 2 outstanding quarterbacks, both seniors this year as well. So it'll be a new guard next year in the MIAA.
Boy, it just seemed like every Saturday afternoon Calvin was facing some 5th-year veteran quarterback that just knew how to pick apart that defense, and will be a whole new crop next year. 2nd down and 8. New running back into the game for Albion. And that is number 24, Alex Trudell, the freshman from Jackson. Picked up, actually lost a couple. Flag comes in. What's the penalty call? Looks like it's going against Calvin.
Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense, number 42, half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
You hear the call from Jason Nickel. 1st and 10 at the 10-yard line. So 1st and goal for Albion with 2:17 to play. Stay with us after the game for the Big East post-game show. Best place to watch all this weekend's football is just down the Beltline from Calvin's campus. That's Big East. Post-game show will feature final comments here as we approach the 2-minute warning. Final comments from Trent Fig, as well as our straight line fence player of the game. That's all ahead on the Big East post-game show. But first, we've come to the 2-minute warning. We'll step aside when we return. The last series of the season, in all likelihood, coming up on the Calvin Sports Network. Calvin University's grad program is expanding again this fall with the addition of a Master of Science in Nursing program. It makes 12 master's degrees that Calvin now offers and 10 certificate options for adult learners. So whether you are looking to go part-time or full-time, online or in person, Calvin's got you covered. Discover more at calvin.edu. 1st and goal to go for Albion as they're knocking on the door here in the red zone. That hard count will give them 5 easy yards.
Full start.
I'll tell you what, Jason, I think about this game and what Trent wanted to do, establish a rhythm passing game. For the most part, did that today. Running game was spotty at best, but when it came right down to it, it was Albion had a quarterback that just found ways to make plays and find open receivers.
Yeah, and I thought good adjustments by Albion on both sides of the ball, too. They went to that short passing game in the second half, which was effective. They ran the ball better in the second half, give credit to the offensive line. And then defensively, they took away that short passing game that allowed Chase Bradman to get into that rhythm in the first half, and their corners came up and made plays. So excellent job by Albion, a veteran football team that played really well in this second half. But a lot to be proud of for Calvin. I mean, they played really well for the first half, or the first 2.5 quarters. Coming out and getting that stop early in the third quarter was huge, too. So plenty to build on for the Knights.
Albion now in victory formation, as looks like Luke Lovell's going to come back in to finish this one off here. And the senior from Pinckney, with a prolific career, thrown for over 2,700 yards each of his last 2 seasons. Actually, with today's 400-yard outing, throws for over 3,000 yards. And other than Carter St. John, he was the quarterback to watch all season long for the MIAA.
Yeah, Carter St. John, first team all MIAA last year. Luke Lovell, second team. I mean, that might be the way it rolls out again this season. You think a quarterback the caliber of Luke Lovell would be able to crack first team, but Carter St. John's really good too.
They'll run one more play, and this one will come to a close. 41-21, and yet another solid effort in the conference for Calvin's football team as this one comes to a close. Trent Fig jogs across the field to congratulate Travis Rundle. And we'll step aside, take a quick break. When we come back, Levi Suter will meet Trent Fig on the field. We'll get some final comments from the coach. That's all ahead on the Big East post-game show coming up on the Calvin Sports Network, Michigan Sports Radio and AM 1230 Talk WTKG. 41-21, the final today. Albion knocks off Calvin and finishes the season 7-3, 5-2 in the conference. Calvin closes their initial season at 2-8, and what a memorable year it was. And the guy running it all was head coach Trent Fig. He is down on the field, standing by with Levi Suter. Levi?
Man, hats off to our 7 seniors, man. Those guys, to be a senior and to battle the way our guys battled, unbelievably proud and so thankful for these guys, man. I'm so thankful for every kid on our team. Our guys battle, man. We have a really good football team. Obviously, we're young. You know, you can't pay for experience, but now we have experience. And so I've never been more proud of a group to be their coach. We have great days ahead.
Thank you so much, Coach. Back to you, Bob.
All right, welcome inside the Big East post-game show after this 41-21 victory for the Albion Britons over the Calvin Knights. It was a fascinating game today and really pretty entertaining like we had thought. Albion jumped on top, never trailed in this game, led 7-0 on the first of 5 touchdown passes from Luke Lovell. Calvin would respond to tie it 7-7. Albion with a touchdown late in the first quarter, finished the first quarter scoring with a 14-7 lead. They extended that lead to 21-7 early in the second on Lovell's third touchdown pass, but then Calvin made things interesting. The defense roared up with a couple of stops, and the offense got it clicking through the air. Calvin would score 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, both on tosses of TD quality from Chase Bradman, one to Jair Harden, one to Luke Mishmerheisen. That was after the first one to Seth Anderson in the first quarter. We went to the break 21-21. Calvin was able to force a missed field goal at the end of the first half that salvaged that 21-21 tie. And on the initial possession in the third quarter for Albion, again, it was a missed field goal that ended a Britain's drive, and Calvin had some momentum and the football with the game tied 21-21. Knights couldn't move it, though, and ended up punting, as well as the next possession where they turned it over on the game's only turnover, an interception by Albion, Miguel Ocampo. And in the meantime, Albion would score 2 TDs in the second half to take a 35-21 lead. 2 more touchdown passes from Lovell, one to Dorian Armstrong for 29 yards, the other from Lovell to Dylan Dennison for 12 yards. And then late in the fourth quarter, Albion added their 6th touchdown of the game, a 1-yard plunge by Trevor Smith, and that's how we ended 41-21. Statistically today, first downs 25-19 in favor of Albion, rushing yards 135-50 in favor of Albion. That was really a key part of the second half. After just 31 yards in the first half on the ground, Albion's rushing attack came into motion in the second half and really ended up being a critical part of that offensive success. They end up with 135 yards to just 50 for Calvin. Big story, though, Luke Lovell threw for 422 yards today, 28 of 34 with no interceptions and 5 touchdowns. So all told, the Britons tally 557 yards on the ground, or rather in total offense, compared to Calvin's 303. Chase Bradman today, 31 of 41 for 253 yards through the air. Well-played game by Calvin, penalty-wise, 5 for 33 for the Knights, 5 penalties for 55 yards for Albion. Third down conversions, 7 of 13 for Albion, 10 of 17 for Calvin. On the ground, big story, Colby Taylor-Browning, 91 yards he ended up with after really being stifled in the first half. Came on strong in the second half. Through the air, again, Lovell 28 of 34, spread it around like he always does. Cameron Moore with 6 catches for 87. Trevor Smith with 5 for 102. Aiden Adams with 4 for 66. Dylan Dennison 4 for 58. All those guys scored a touchdown for the Britons on the receiving end of Luke Lovell's passes. For Calvin, Jair Harden was able to muster 30 yards on 14 carries as the ground game struggled. Seth Anderson, the big story on the receiving side, caught 8 balls today for 117 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Hogan also with 8 catches for 47 yards. Seth Ritzma with a solid outing, 6 catches for 47. And Luke Mishmerheisen, 6 catches for 32 yards. So that's the stats and the scoring summary today. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, talk more about this one. Jason Hutton will hand out our awards, and we'll send you home for the end of this Calvin football season. That's all ahead on the Big East Post Game Show coming up here on Calvin Sports Network, Michigan Sports Radio and AM 1230 Talk WTKG. Welcome back inside the Big East Post Game Show. Bob Sack alongside Jason Hutton as we wrap this one up at 41-21 Albion victory today. Our Paris Motors drive of the game, Jason, was a key one in this football game and an exciting one for Calvin.
Yeah, we're going to go with that Calvin drive late in the second quarter that resulted in the touchdown pass from Chase Bradman to Luke Mishmerheisen that tied the game at 21 with 1:47 to go before the half. At that point, very even football game and a ton of momentum for Calvin as they headed towards the locker room.
Our straight line fence player of the game. A lot of guys to choose from today on that offensive end, but I like your selection.
Yeah, I want to go with Seth Anderson. I thought the receiver had an excellent game. Not only 8 catches for 117 yards and a touchdown, but I thought he blocked well in the perimeter when they ran bubbles. And I thought Seth Anderson, number 8, the freshman from Rockford, I thought he played really, really well tonight.
And that's the Straight Line Fence player of the game with over 30 years of building sanctuary and security. Straight Line Fence provides property owners with the privacy, comfort, and confidence of the perfect fence. Well, you had a chance, Jason, I think, to offer a few thoughts on this program overall. And we come down to the end today of what has been a memorable season. You know, I've covered football a long time and seen a lot of games. And I will say, when I get to be 90 years old, if God willing I live that long, I will always remember this first Calvin football season because it was so unique just in the way it developed to start and then in the way it transpired over the course of the season. If you go back to the work you did with WXMI previewing Calvin's football team, how did this play out in 2024 compared to what you thought it might be when you were presented with the news back in 2023?
Yeah, I don't think it played out anything like I thought it would. You know, when you start a program, history tells us you're going to struggle. I mean, I think 0-10 was on the table. I mean, certainly when you've never had a football program before, that could happen. And Calvin comes out and they win 2 of their first 3, right? And sure, they don't win an MIAA game, but we're competitive against everybody except the top 2 teams. I think you can tell. Anybody that's been around this program that understands it, they have some really good people in some really good spots. I think there's a ton to build on, and I think it's a really good start to a new program for Calvin University.
I think about the kids, the guys who are playing their last football game ever today, these seniors, Chase Bradman, Paul Vanderplug, Bryce Perko, Jair Harden, Ike Nordhaus, Wyatt Steensma, Dave Ensley, and the manager, Skylar Koopmans. These are young guys that years from now, when this program is rolling and competing and winning MIAA championships, they'll look back and say, hey, I took a flyer and was part of the Calvin football program in the first year. And these seniors today who are recognized will have that memory unlike any other Calvin athletic alum in recent times, because they truly were part of the start of something very, very special. It's a team that obviously will look to get better next year. They'll get better simply by the working out and the weight room activity. Trent Figgs told us several times he just wants an off season in the weight room more than anything. But as you look at this team with the actual players on the field, aside from the culture, aside from some of the aspects of the overall organization, what are the needs, the football needs, that they'll have to really keenly improve upon next year?
Well, I think the 2 big ones are the offensive line, which I think a lot of that will come with that, like you talked about, off-season, extra time in the weight room. Those guys just growing and getting a little older because they were just so young up front this year. And I think all of those guys, and we're talking about more than the 5 that played the majority of the minutes, have a very high ceiling and can continue to grow and will do so this offseason. And I would think in the secondary, I think their safeties certainly showed signs, but Calvin, they need to get a little better in pass coverage. I know they played some really good quarterbacks and some really good wide receivers in the MIAA, but I think those are the 2 areas they have to improve upon, and I think they can do it with their current personnel, but certainly you're going to bring in some freshmen, probably bring in some transfers. That will help in both of those spots, but those seem like the 2 areas to me where Calvin needs the most growth from year 1 to year 2.
All right, well, it's going to be fun next year. Can't wait for it to happen, but in the meantime, it's going to be a very interesting offseason too, and just exciting to be part of the process to see how Trent Figg builds this program. Let's dole out some thank yous for this whole season, because it has been an absolute delight and privilege to bring you Calvin football throughout the year. Starts with AD Jim Timmer. He has just been fabulous to work with, as Levi Suter chatted with him down in the field. A guy who just breeds excitement and energy, and I couldn't think of a better person to be at the helm for this athletic department and certainly the launch of this football program. Trent Figg, thank him for his outstanding cooperation all season long, giving us the information we needed and really providing all of the insight that could help bring it to you, the fans and viewers and listeners, throughout this season. I got to tell you about our broadcast crew. They've been terrific. Can't imagine a better one in small college football than this crew, led by executive producer Lucas Moore and the vice president for information technology at Calvin, Brian Page. Our producers for all the games have been Adam Tozer and Nate Porter. Audio engineers Carl Hordike and Justin Kendall. Terrific camera crew of numerous people that have really helped us out through the year. Grateful for all of those folks, all those guys who you can see on the screen who have been such a big part of these broadcasts that we're excited to bring you and excited to build upon for next year as well. I want to thank our Michigan Sports Radio executive producer Brock Conkle and all of his help, and Be sure to stay with Brock and Michigan Sports Radio for all of the high school football playoff action down the stretch as well. And, of course, Brett Paquita and the iHeart Media folks and all of their cooperation, too. Today, great to have Carter Hutton in the booth, once again, handling the spotting work for us. And, of course, Levi Suter down in the field. I want to thank all of our sponsors, Skipper and O-Strink. You saw the listing and the logos there on the screen. Skipper and O-String, Straight Line Fence, Applied Innovation, Paris Motors, NAI Wasinski of West Michigan, Mercantile Bank, Eastbrook Homes, Big E's, Detroit Wing Company, LMCU, Versity, Blood Centers, CRM Services, all of those companies making these broadcasts possible and hopefully helping you enjoy them here as we've gone through this fall season. Most of all, I want to thank you, the fans. It has been a delight to spend Saturday afternoons with you. And it has been a time, again, that we will always remember and never forget this first ever Calvin football season. So that'll wrap it up today from Grand Rapids Christian. And for my broadcast partner, Jason Hutton. Jason, been great working with you as well. Thanks for all your outstanding work. For Jason and the entire crew here at Calvin University, so long, everybody. We'll see you next year. Once again, the final score today, Albion 41 and Calvin 21. Good night, everybody.